the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace Hardware and Sports in downtown Midland has some extra savings for rewards members this month. The leaves are falling down. Make the cleanup easier on yourself. Save $20 instantly on select Craftsman V20 brushless outdoor power equipment kits. Select Milwaukee Power Tools, buy one, get one free, including the brushless drill and impact driver kit. And a steal of a deal on an Ace gift card. Free $10 gift card when you buy a $50 gift card.
The high school football game of the week, presented by the Forward Corporation.
It's the district final round. The 9-1 Dow Chargers keep surging. They host the 5-5 East Lansing Trojans at Midland Community Stadium. Dow's looking for their first district title since 2015. Dow and East Lansing, pregame coverage at 6:50 Friday night.
Don't miss any of the action on the Great Lakes Bay region's home for sports. Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt.
All right, folks, get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation, that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
They tell us we're more connected these days. We have cell phones, email, text messaging, yet we've never felt more disconnected from the people we care about the most. We need a place that's all about bringing us together. Say hello to the Great Lakes Bay region, where towns like Saginaw, Midland, Bay City, Birch Run, Chesaning, and Frankenmuth help us leave behind the overscheduled world we live in and visit a place we haven't seen in a while. One where the people make us feel right at home. And we remember just how bright our kids' eyes get, peeking through a riverboat railing, just to catch a glimpse of the wildlife. So let's go fishing, bird watching. Let's blow the suds off a local tap, take a tall ship dinner cruise at sunset, or stop by a festival just because the name made us smile. Right here in the Great Lakes Bay region, where reconnecting with what really matters is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, live on a Wednesday here in the Great Lakes Bay region of Michigan. Really all over Michigan because we're live on YouTube as well. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already in that department. It's Big Win Wednesday, which means we're giving away tickets to the Michigan State game this weekend. Thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet. It's our last time giving away Michigan State tickets this year, so last chance to get down to East Lansing. Let's kick things off with the trade deadline that happened yesterday in the NFL. No time to waste. I want to jump right into it. 22 total trades made. It's the most since 1995. Not just yesterday, but up until the trade deadline throughout the entire season. There was 12 trades made Monday and Tuesday, including 3 former All-Pro players. 0 trades made by the Detroit Lions. And I personally am not upset about it. The last 2 years I have said the Lions need to be all in at the last 2 years deadlines, right? In 2023, I begged and pleaded for Dan Campbell to go get Montez Sweat. I still stay up at night thinking about how that NFC Championship goes differently if Montez Sweat is on the field against the 49ers. I thought they killed it last year with Zadarius Smith. That was a great pickup for the Detroit Lions. This year, there wasn't a pressing need other than interior offensive line, and it has been 4 seasons since one of those guys has been moved. On average, every other year, an offensive lineman gets moved, and it's almost always a tackle. The Lions do not need another tackle on this roster because they're not threatening to take Taylor Decker's job. They're not threatening to take Penei Sewell's job, and you've already got your third offensive tackle in Dan Skipper. So a tackle was simply off the table. The Lions' biggest weakness right now, the thing that's holding them back, is the ability to protect Jared Goff in the middle and the ability to run the football compared to how they've done it in years past. This is the worst rushing attack Dan Campbell has had since his first season in Detroit. Shouldn't be the case when you have a backfield as talented as Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, but because of the pass protection, because of the run stuff up front with Graham Glasgow and his struggles in that department, it has not lived up to the standard. Some of that might be on Johnny Morton. We'll get into that in a little bit. But what came down to it is that the most pressing need for this Lions team was the interior of the offensive line, and no team was willing to tango with Brad Holmes. There's a good chance he called 31 other teams and said, "Can I have your interior offensive line?" And they just said, "No, why would we make our quarterback's life even harder?" Even a team like the Jets, full fire sale. Even a team like the Titans should be blowing it up nonstop. Saints as well. Why would they make their rookie quarterbacks' lives even harder? I am not upset at this year's deadline because I don't think there was a move to be made. And anyone that's upset about this year's deadline, I want to challenge you, and you guys can challenge me as well and tell me I'm wrong. I want to hear from people today. I just want to know what the move you wanted to happen, like what was the move you wanted Brad Holmes to make? I don't think there was anything available. Could you have added a safety? Sure. Could you have added a corner? Yeah, probably, but DJ Reed's coming back. They're getting healthier. It's not like that was a need. Could you have added a run defensive end, like a run stuffing D end? Sure, but it's not like the Lions have necessarily struggled in that department. Arden Key for the Titans maybe would have been nice, but it's not like that was a need. So for you to burn a 6th-round pick or 5th-round pick on a guy that you don't really need, going to make a marginal difference at best, I just don't think Brad Holmes was willing to do that. I don't know what the move was. So for anyone out there that's frustrated that Brad Holmes did nothing at the deadline, I challenge you to challenge me and tell me what the move you wanted to happen should have been. Because I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to Scott Harris not doing anything at the deadline. Brad Holmes isn't putting them in the best position to win. They're still a Super Bowl contender, guys. It's not like this was life or death. And let's look around the rest of the league. The standouts of the NFL, the Chiefs, the Bills, the 49ers. Like, these teams didn't do anything at the deadline either. And those are considered some of the best, well-run organizations in the sport. Then you have the Eagles over here, and that's kind of their own entity. They're just nonstop making moves. Doesn't matter if it fits. Doesn't matter if it's what the team needs. They're just over there in their own world doing Howie Roseman things, trying to make as many moves as humanly possible. That's over there. And the Eagles are really good at that. The Lions have been really good at building through the draft. And they don't want to just start burning draft capital on players that aren't going to actually make a difference or even crack a starting spot on this team. And the third thing, why I'm not afraid or why I'm not upset is why they made a trade is they're already paying Jared Goff. They're already paying a quarterback. They're already paying a tackle. They're already paying 2 different wide receivers. They're already paying an edge rusher premium dollar. You've got Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta contracts coming up. You're not trading for anything but a rental this season. There's just wasn't a move available for the Detroit Lions. So if you expected me to come on here, pound my fist, and be upset with the organization for not making a move, I'm sorry, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think there was an actual move to be made for the Detroit Lions. We'll talk to a couple guests coming up later on in the show about it. But Kyle, believe it or not, I'm just not upset with what happened here at this year's deadline, despite them doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this yesterday, a little bit of a prediction of what we thought was going to happen, and we kind of nailed it. Like, we both expected the Lions not to make any moves at all. I said it was probably going to be minus odds that they didn't make a move, and they didn't make a move. And to your point, like, I understand Lions fans wanting to be more bought in on a Super Bowl this season. I totally get that. The NFC seems like it's pretty wide open, whereas the AFC, I still think at the end of the day, it comes down to the Bills and the Chiefs as the top teams out there. But in the NFC, it looks like it is a wide open slate for any of the Lions, Eagles, Rams, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously you see teams like the Seahawks going in a little bit, and the Eagles obviously making a ton of moves to try to fix things up in the NFC. So I could see it being frustrating from that perspective of, I don't know, when our competition is making moves to get better, then we're not getting better. That isn't a great look for us. Sure, one, I don't think the Lions are just concerned about what the other teams are doing. But the two is the big part that you mentioned. Is just like, what was the move? Because you look at all the other minor trades that happened. First of all, we know the Lions weren't trading 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. Like, let's just toss that out of the way. So anybody that saw that trade and immediately correlated it to a Lions thing, like, oh man, why aren't the Lions going all in on stuff like this? Come on, that was never happening.
And by the way, I thought we'll get to winners and losers later. Spoiler alert: I don't love it for the Colts.
Right.
I don't love it.
And even if you do love it for the Colts, their quarterback isn't under contract. The Lions is. Like, it just wouldn't have made sense financially for them to make a move like that. But two, like, you look at all the other minor moves that were made, because the Lions were going to make a move, and even the fans that wanted the Lions to make a trade knew that it had to have been a minor move. Something that you're giving up a 5th, a 6th, maybe even a 4th-round pick for a guy. You look at the guys that were moved for that type of capital yesterday, there was none that fit the positional need for the Lions. There was one edge rusher traded yesterday for a 6th-round pick, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka from Cleveland to Chicago, who was a former first-round pick. He just isn't very good, doesn't play a ton. Why would the Lions give up a 6th-round pick for that guy? He doesn't play. There wasn't many secondary guys moved yesterday that could have helped this team because they're confident in that group. The one position that we talked about all day yesterday that they could have traded for was an interior offensive lineman. How many of them got traded yesterday, Ben?
0. How many of them got traded last year?
0.
How many of them got traded the year before?
1.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Why would a team trade away their interior offensive line? Why would you trade anyone on your offensive line? You know, so that's what I'm with you. I understand the frustration from the other teams being aggressive. If that's the angle that you're taking, that it's just frustrating that the other teams in the NFC that are competing with Detroit for a Super Bowl made moves and you didn't. Sure, I could see being frustrated about that. But what did you want the Lions to do?
Is that just the only other team?
Well, I mean, the Seahawks going out and getting Shaheed.
Yeah, but they filled a need, right? They went after a guy who, I mean, I guess they didn't need a receiver because they have who's been maybe the best receiver, second best receiver in the NFL this season. But now they got another guy to take the roof off the defense.
Yeah.
The Lions already have that. What good would Rashid Shaheed would have done for this Lions team?
No, I'm not saying that they had to trade for Shaheed. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just like, I'm throwing it out there. All the guys that got moved, whether it's Jacoby Myers, Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, the Lions didn't need any of those positions. And if you want to argue like, oh, you could have replaced Terron Arnold, like they're not going to give up on a first-round pick in year 2, guys. After he just had the best game of his career. DJ Reed's coming back. They're not going to give out and shell out 2 first-round picks for an upgrade on defense, but not someone who's like, it's not like it was a need. Like the Colts needed a new corner, right? They had, what's his name, retire in the middle of the season.
Yeah, Xavier Howard.
Thank you. Retired in the middle of the season because
Kenny Moore's been injured all season long for them. Their top corner.
Because Puka Nacua put up 170 yards on him. He retires, and all of a sudden they need a new corner. So this, like, it makes sense for them to go all in on a guy. Dallas, their defense is so bad, and they had all this extra capital from the Micah Parsons trade. It made sense to go get another star. Otherwise, why'd you trade Micah Parsons in the first place? All that stuff makes sense. But for the Lions to go all in on one of these 3 former All-Pro guys to get traded, that didn't make any sense. And as for everyone else that got traded, the other 19 players that got traded over the course of this season, which of those guys would have like played meaningful snaps for the Lions? I would argue none. Oh, Jalen Phillips went to the Eagles. Cool. He can't stop the run. And they're great at just finding talented players and carving out roles for them on their defense. The Lions have their identity on defense, and Jalen Phillips didn't fit into that whatsoever. They're not going to waver from that. They're not going to change who they are. It has worked up to this point. I'm content with how the deadline went because it went nothing. We can give out deadline grades. The Lions don't get one because you have to participate to get a deadline grade. Can't grade something that wasn't turned in. And I'm not upset about it at all. They're still contenders. They're still got a chance to win the Super Bowl. There's an argument they're still the best team in the NFC. I don't think they are right now in this present moment. But who's to say they can't be a month from now?
Well, I also just think the loss to Minnesota plays into this more than anything, right? It's the emotion of losing that division game at home against a quarterback that hasn't played a ton, getting exposed, your offensive line did. Like, that is why people want the move to be made. If the Lions take care of business against Minnesota, I think we feel much differently. And by we, I mean just the Lions fan base as a whole.
And where did the Lions struggle the most versus Minnesota? The interior of the offensive line. And again, those guys don't get traded. 989-837-6125. Your reaction to 0 trades from Brad Holmes at this year's NFL trade deadline. Because I get it, there's some people that are a little bit more upset about it than I am, because I'm 0% upset. I don't think there was a move to be made for this Detroit Lions team. 989-837-6125. A lot coming up here on the Ben Bosscher Show. A lot to discuss with the NFL trade deadline. We're going to have Chris Castellani come on a little bit later on, just kind of talk about a whole bunch of things, whether it's Tigers, Lions, Michigan basketball, Michigan football. We got a whole lot to get to here on the show today. So be ready to text in for Big Win Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. if you want to go down to East Lansing to go see Michigan State and Penn State. Who's going to pick up their first win in the Big Ten remains to be determined. 989-837-6125. 9 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Iron Stack Technologies. Strong businesses, well, they need strong tech, and that's where Iron Stack Technology comes in. Locally owned in Midland, they keep your IT rock solid from cybersecurity to cloud services and everything in between. Think of them as like an invisible backbone to your business. No capes, just smarter solutions. Whether you're a small shop, growing company, Iron Stack makes sure your tech doesn't crumble under pressure. Iron Stack Technologies, strong, steady, and built to keep you moving forward.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. Is your business protected, connected, and running at full speed? At Iron Stack Technology, they provide rock-solid IT solutions, cybersecurity, and support tailored for small and mid-sized businesses. From managed services to cloud migration and 24/7 monitoring, they've got your back so you can focus on what matters most, growing your business. Visit IronStackTechnology.com today and build your IT on a foundation of strength. Iron Stack Technology, IT that works as hard as you do. Tired of floors that snore? Walls that whisper, meh? Premier Tile in Midland is here to spice things up one tile at a time. They've got backsplash that'll make your pasta jealous.
What?
Shower walls that'll actually sing in the morning. And floors so fabulous, you'll consider eating dinner off them. Stylish, affordable, slightly obsessed with grout. Visit Premier Tile, located between Stark and Sturgeon, right off US 10, or at PremierTilestone.com.
Hi, this is Jim Mahoney with Link Technologies. If you are a business or a nonprofit organization wondering how to navigate today's technologies landscape, let Link Technologies' talented staff work with you to develop a technology plan custom to your specific needs. We bring 27 years of experience helping businesses and nonprofit organizations just like yours achieve their technology goals. Contact us today and see how the right balance between cloud and on-premise resources can best work for you.
He got him! That's 3 of them!
The Great Lakes Bay region's home for Spartans basketball.
Saturday season, early November, top 25 matchup. The 1-0, 22nd-ranked MSU hosts number 14, Arkansas. The Spartans and Razorbacks. Coverage starts Saturday at 6, presented by Weiss Equipment.
Every MSU game all season long.
It's so fun to hear people chanting.
Right here on Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt. This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
If you served, we want you to get the health care and benefits you earned. We want you to come to VA.
There's never been a better time to apply. Under a new law called the PACT Act, we've expanded VA care and benefits to millions of people who served and their survivors.
No matter where you served or how long you served, check out va.gov/PACT to learn more about what VA can do for you and your family. Come to VA.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm not frustrated. I'm not upset. I just don't think there was a move to be made for the Detroit Lions at this year's deadline. We can go and call them a loser, but I don't think you can call them a loser at the deadline if they didn't make a move. It's like an ungraded, like you turn something in late to your teacher, you don't turn it in at all. You don't get a grade until you turn it in. Brad Holmes didn't turn anything in, so you can't grade what he did. I just think it's an NA, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. The Lions, I mean, you wake up today, they're still one of the 3 best teams in the NFC with just as good of a chance to come out of it in the postseason as any other team. They're still getting healthier. They're still getting guys back. I'm not all that worried about not picking anyone up at the deadline. Now, if a pressing need was corners and they didn't do anything, sure, that'd be a little bit different. If there was a pressing need to get another pass rusher across from Aiden Hutchinson and they didn't do anything, maybe that'd be a little different. But Muhammad's been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL this season in his limited snaps. He's only out there on 3rd and longs, really, because it's the only thing he's good for. He's like an upgraded James Houston. So would it have been nice to go find like an edge rusher whose main job is stopping the run, like a defensive end? Yeah, none of those guys got moved this year. For as top-heavy as this year's trade deadline was and as active as it was, the positions that the Lions needed the most help at, there just wasn't a ton of activity. And really that just comes down to interior offensive line because there's never activity for those guys during the NFL trade deadline. So I'm not frustrated whatsoever with this situation. Now, if you told me in a vacuum, hey, Lions, Super Bowl contenders, they don't do anything at this year's deadline, it sounds worse than it actually is. But Kansas City has been to 3 straight Super Bowls. They didn't make a move. Josh Allen and the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFC and NFL AFC and NFL over and over and over again. Guess what? They didn't make any moves either. Does that mean they're bad franchises? Does that mean their GMs suck? No. You got to read the market. And sometimes when teams jack up the prices of some players and you've got guys like Jerry Jones manipulating the market and the Indianapolis front office just going all in after seeing success for a month and a half, like, okay, like this feels like a really big grand scheme trade deadline. But look at all the perennial teams in the NFL that are there in the playoffs every single season. Most of them remained inactive this year. Even the Rams, a team that's always active at the trade deadline, making big splashes. They don't really do anything. The Lions didn't really do anything. Chiefs, Bills, I already mentioned them. Niners, like, it's okay to not do anything sometimes at the deadline. This isn't the MLB where you get frustrated because you didn't add. That was completely different. When Scott Harris chooses not to make the team better and you see the drop-off of all the pitchers he added, doing nothing in the postseason, and the best just getting worse and worse and worse as the year goes on, that's totally different. Because there was players available that could have helped you. Gino Suarez, some of these pitchers, a lot of guys that could have helped the Tigers and made them better. I don't know what players could have made the Lions better that they could have realistically traded for this trade deadline. I don't think those moves were there.
Yeah, the guys that fit the Lions just clearly weren't there. And we're obviously getting some names thrown in here. Obviously, with all the big names traded, like you said, the Lions were never getting their mix in on those guys at all. I'm seeing a lot of Tariq Woolen tossed around in our YouTube chat. he didn't get traded. You know, he's been a guy that Seattle's been talking about moving all season long. Well, nobody wanted to trade for him. So he's an expiring contract, a guy that was really good at the beginning of his career, doesn't really fit the scheme with Mike McDonald. And once again, is a corner that would have to play on a team that is bringing back DJ Reed, has Terry Arnold, and has depth at that spot. So
at best would be the third corner on the team for the Lions. At best, maybe even the fourth, depending on the fit. Like, are we just forgetting that Reek Woolen has just not been good for a year and a half?
Hasn't played this year. I mean, like doesn't see the field.
I don't know why we'd want to trade for that guy. I don't really get the frustration from some people after this year's deadline.
I just think it's it's more so not the lack of specific moves being made, it's the theory of not making a move.
Right.
Like it's just you didn't make a single move to try to improve the team. That means they're not bought in. That means they're not all in. They're too much hoarding the picks for the draft. And then you add in the fact that there's been a little bit of I don't know if you've seen this, Ben, but a trending frustration with Lions fans of these picks that they move up in the draft for not hitting the last couple times. The Isaac Teslas. You know, there's been a lot of that going around Twitter, Lions Twitter, the last day or so. Just like, man, we're not willing to spend a fourth-round pick on a guy to add at the deadline, but we're willing to just toss him away for a guy that's not going to help in his rookie season in Isaac Tesla. My counter would be, were we ever expecting Tesla to be this, like, world-beater contributor in year one? I don't know.
Were we ever expecting any third-round pick? Do good teams ever expect third-round picks to contribute right away? Not teams competing for a Super Bowl. It's nice when you're like, hey, we got a surprise third-round pick. This guy's actually contributing right away. But if you're a Super Bowl contending team going into the year, third-round picks aren't really supposed to contribute. The Lions have two guys that are contributing from this year's draft, and it's the first and second round pick, right?
Yeah.
Typically, that's what happens with good NFL teams.
Yeah, there's a reason why we look back at those drafts in the early Brad Holmes days, like, oh my goodness, look at all these stars that he drafted. The Kirby Josephs that get picked late, and the Malcolm Rodriguez's at the time when he was playing so early on. It's like, because those guys had an opportunity to see the field so many times right away because of the lack of good players on the team. Now, once you establish good players, like you said, those later round picks are not going to see the field early on in their playing days. If you're frustrated about trading up for Isaac Tesla and wasting those picks, sure, but there's another reason why the Lions didn't move any picks to trade for anyone at this year's deadline, because they have moved on from a lot of those late round picks in previous drafts already. They don't have a ton of picks to move.
If there's a move to be upset at with last year's draft, it's not trading up and grabbing Isaac Tesla. With how excited we were about that guy preseason,
true.
I don't know why we would just suddenly be giving up on that. He was always going to be a project, and if he can contribute next year, I think that pick is totally worth it. And he showed enough upside. Like, he scored 2 touchdowns already this year. I know they're both garbage time, but he's got 6 points up on the board. The frustrating part comes with the second offensive lineman that you took in Miles Frazier, who is yet to practice. Like, everyone has kind of forgotten about that pick. 6th-round pick, Miles Frazier from LSU, has registered 0 practices this year, and we have no idea why. No one seems to have a clue as to where this guy is or what he's doing or what's preventing him from practicing. That's a guy they could need right now with Christian Mahogany going down, but it sounds like it's going to be Yodi stepping in and being the left tackle for now, which I don't know how much of a downgrade or upgrade that's going to be. It was already a unit that was struggling. That's where the Lions could have improved at the trade deadline. But as we've discussed, there wasn't an available move for interior offensive linemen. That simply does not happen. 989-837-6125. Your reaction to the Lions doing nothing at this year's trade deadline. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt, as always brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, the siding's looking a little tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Isaiah, let's play some word association.
I'm ready.
Spring.
Repairs.
Wind.
Roofing.
Rain.
Gutters.
Leak.
Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Who do you call?
Go Ghostbusters.
No, son. Who do you call?
Bresky Siding Berry Repair.
That's right. Don't wait until spring. Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your roofing and gutter needs.
It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9, The Mitt. This month's recipient is Max Stecker from Midland High School. With a 4.6 GPA, Max was a state-ranked discus and shot put thrower and the SVL Blues 2024 Player of the Year in football. Max credits his parents for instilling the work ethic in athletics and academics.
Both my parents, my mom was a teacher, so over the summers I'd be doing math packets, everything like that, staying on top of things. And then, my dad would always just, be the really big encourager as far as sports go and stuff like that.
Max is now attending Northwood, a member of the Timberwolves football and track and field team. He's majoring in accounting and finance. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete, as we are now taking applications for our 2025-26 scholarship program. Visit 1009themitt.com.
Now, wait a second, Sharon. So the Midland Area Community Foundation runs the Midland Area Santa House?
You bet we do.
And Midland Area River Days?
Absolutely.
Plus scholarships for students and grants for local nonprofits? That's like hitting the cycle and impacting our community.
Anyone can step up to the plate and help build community capital for as little as $5.
$5? That's the cost of a snack at the ballpark. How do I get in the game?
Just visit midlandfoundation.org and make a gift to our community investment fund. Every dollar makes a difference.
Join the team. Give today at midlandfoundation.org.
Is the air in your home dry? Are allergies bothering you? Tired of itchy skin and static everywhere? We have your answer. Answer Heating and Cooling can install a whole home humidifier that keeps your air balanced, your skin comfortable, and your family breathing easier all winter long. Say goodbye to static shocks and hello to comfort. Call Answer Heating and Cooling today or visit AnswerSOS.com. Answer Heating and Cooling, the home of simply outstanding service.
At Scott Family Dental, we treat every patient like family because it's in our name. Our office culture is built on trust, comfort, and care, just like you'd want for your own loved ones. We don't sign contracts with insurance companies, so we can offer the highest quality dental care without compromise. That means your treatment is based on what's best for you, not an insurance plan. Scott Family Dental, compassionate care, lasting smiles.
Visit scottfamdental.com to schedule today.
When you want NFL football on the radio.
It is another defensive touchdown. Wow, he got hammered, dude.
You know where to turn.
Let's go. Come on.
This week is no different.
Somebody go make a play. We can never lose our competitiveness.
Thursday night football is here.
3 teams have the NFL's best record of 7-2, including the Denver Broncos. They host the Las Vegas Raiders on TNF. Coverage at 7:30, presented by Ace Hardware, downtown Midland.
Right here on Sports Radio 100.9, The Mitt. From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Michigan needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, 989-837-6125. Let's hit the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Alrighty, Ben, let's hop right into the news. A lot of stuff going on in sports. First off, though, let's take a look at the community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Tonight, at the Chippewa Nature Center here in Midland from 5 to 6:30, which, yeah, that's when it gets dark nowadays. There's a full moon stroll. It's time of that year, full moon. So that's the nice part, at least, about it being dark early. Doesn't have to be out too late to see the full moon.
You say time of the year? Full moon, this is the time of the year where it comes out?
Well, time of the month, but I'm saying
There you
this
go.
time of the year, you don't have to stay up late to see the full moon.
So true. You're making great points.
Yeah, man, sorry. Anyways, let's talk about sports. College football playoff, finally, first ranking comes out last night. 1 through 4, you got Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, and Alabama sneaks in at 4. This is a very interesting college football playoff week 1 ranking because all of the 25 teams in the poll are in the Power 4, yet obviously the Group of 5 still gets an automatic bid. So Memphis, despite not being ranked in the top 25, sneaks in as the 12th team in the hypothetical playoff that they put out right now.
Yeah, and remember, this is the first year that conference championships don't really matter as much. It's just the top overall seeds. I think that devalues the conference championships a little bit. But that means it's just the top 4 seeds. Bama sneaks in over Georgia is the big one here with the head-to-head win over them. So
Georgia right outside at number 5.
So it's going to be 2 SEC teams, 2 Big Ten teams as the top 4 seeds is what I'm hearing. Or those 4 like the first round bye teams, the 4 of them will all be occupied by Big Ten or SEC schools to some capacity.
Yes. The top non-SEC or Big Ten school is BYU at number 7, who remains one of the lone undefeated teams in all of college football at 8-0.
They could run the table, go undefeated, win the conference, and I don't know if they're getting a top.
That seems kind of messed up. They have some good wins. Like they beat Utah, who's here ranked at number 13. Like they definitely have some good wins. I understand the
Do you
SEC
think they're better
bias.
than any of those 4 teams?
No,
though?
but isn't the whole point of the playoff about like resume and stuff like that? Like if you haven't lost a game and you actually do have solid wins, and it's not a Florida State situation where your starting quarterback is injured, like I don't know.
No, I think the objective of the playoffs is to put the 4 best teams as the look, I agreed with you. I valued the conference championships all being automatic first-round buys, and then everyone got upset that Boise State got a first-round bye, and we all decided to overreact after 1 year and say, no, it just needs to be the top overall seeds. So if it truly is the objective to get the best seeds, the best teams as the buys, then I don't think BYU should get one. This is what everyone wanted, though. Not me.
Sure.
Not me.
Yet Notre Dame still sits here at number 10 with no belonging to a conference, 6-2 as well. So we'll see. As far as Michigan goes, they're here at number 21, so not much change for them as far as the rankings go. We all know what Michigan's got to do, though. You know,
run the table.
They have to run the table. Iowa, though, here's the fun part. Iowa sneaks in above Michigan at number 20.
Yep.
Iowa had yet to be ranked in the AP poll. They sneak in here, and they're ahead of Michigan. Interesting.
And Iowa gets a chance to play USC this week,
who is ranked 1 above them at 19.
Which could be a big win for them. Iowa's not been out of contention for... It would take Michigan beating Ohio State.
They play next week, by the way.
Next week. So it would take Michigan beating Ohio State, first of all. But even if Michigan beats Ohio State, they don't have a guaranteed spot in that Big Ten championship because of however the tiebreaker works. It could end up being Iowa running the table, or USC for that matter, with 1 loss.
Yeah, this is it's definitely gonna be fun to see how these shift throughout the rest of the season. Washington also sneaks into this ranking. They're number 23.
7 Big Ten teams.
A lot of Big Ten teams near the bottom. Oregon is still in the top 10. They're at number 9. As far as the rest of the top 10, we might as well just name it off. As we mentioned, Georgia at 5, Ole Miss at number 6, BYU is 7. Texas Tech is another one of those non-SEC Big Ten teams that's in the top 10. They're at number 8. Oregon at 9, and Notre Dame is 10. Okay, more on the news. Red Wings last night, win streak comes to a bit of a halt. They lose 1-0 to the Golden Knights late night. You stay up to watch this, Ben?
No, not the whole thing.
It was on pretty
late. A little
late.
too
10
late for
p.m.
my
start.
liking.
Yeah, that's tough. Their West Coast trip is finally done, though. They're back in action on Friday, back at home against the Rangers. They got a couple days off to get back to Michigan.
Thank God. I need this team back in Detroit. I need this team back on the East Coast. So I don't
Kind of nice to get the West Coast trip out of the way early, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. Although, like I always like when the West Coast trip is like during Christmas, around that time, because I don't know, you take some shows off, so you don't have to be up early in the morning. You know what I mean?
Or just when it kind of falls on a weekend.
Yeah,
two of the West Coast games are on Friday, Saturday night. That's when the best when it works out that way.
Right.
But it didn't.
Gives you a reason to stay up.
Well, I was going to toss on the news here about Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. Let's at least talk about this from the Jets' perspective because we haven't done a lot of seller trade deadline talk. The Jets acquire 3 total first-round picks along with 1 second-round pick. They get the Colts 26, that would be this upcoming draft, and 27 first. They get the 2027 Dallas Cowboys first-round pick. So the Cowboys don't have to trade either of the Packers first that they get. They trade their own next year. Interesting. Plus, they add a second-round pick from Dallas as well.
This is the Jets' version of hitting the reset button and acquiring all the picks like when the Lions traded Matt Stafford away. The problem is, I consider this a win. I can't believe a team got 3 first-round picks over the course of that just doesn't happen.
Deadline in the middle of the year.
That just doesn't happen ever. This is in the NBA, and yet the Jets are making it happen. In a vacuum, I think they won both of the trades. But you still have work to do. You have to hit on these picks, and that's not a guarantee in the NFL. It's not like the NBA where you're like, hey, you have a top 3 pick, you're probably going to land a good guy. You got to make sure you're drafting the right people, developing them. You traded away 2 really talented players, and now you got to replace them and find a way to do it.
2 guys you drafted as well, pretty high. That ended up being really good players.
Right. I like that they kept Garrett Wilson. You can't get rid of everybody on the team. But they hit a hard reset button.
Right. But I also think, I know, and this is saying a lot, but if you do draft the quarterback next year, which you're going to have the opportunity to do it with probably the first overall pick, if you do hit the quarterback right, their offensive line is good still. They have Garrett Wilson. The defense obviously is not great, but you still have a ton of draft capital to spend in there. You have a culture guy in Aaron Glenn who maybe you have bought into now. Clearly you've bought into him by trading away all of his good players.
I think he's the biggest winner of everyone yesterday.
This shows that they really trust him, right?
He gets a longer leash.
Absolutely he does. So, I don't know. I think if you get the quarterback right, at least the Jets' offense a year from now, because I would assume they're going to extend Breece Hall at this point since they didn't trade away him.
Poor Breece Hall, man. He was begging to get out of there.
But I don't know. If you get the quarterback right next year, this offense sneakily has a chance to be something going forward.
Got to get the quarterback, though.
Yeah, and that's obviously saying a lot.
Easier said than done.
I wonder if they just had Sam Darnold. Be kind of nice.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Okay, last night, college basketball, we talked about these star players. Cameron Boozer, him and his twin brother, they are the sons of former NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer. He has a big-time second half to lift Duke over Texas to get their opening win of the season. Were you watching some of this game?
Yeah, I tuned in. I wanted to watch Boozer for a little bit. Didn't end up staying the whole time.
Just a big guy as a freshman, man. Where are these guys coming from? 6'9", 250, I think. Just a unit.
When he starts barreling downhill to the rim, even when he doesn't have the ball, just diving to the rim, he looks like an NBA player already. That's the thing. He's got the body of a 26-year-old, and he's 18 years old.
Yeah,
17 years old. So, yeah, I think he's worth the hype this year, man. He was my pick to win the Wooden Award going into the season. It's one game, but I don't know, man. I feel okay about that pick.
Yeah, I think I probably would too. Not a ton of good college basketball games on tonight or tomorrow night, really. We'll get some more this weekend. Obviously, we talked about it earlier, but we have MSU versus Arkansas on Saturday. That's going to be a ton of fun. By the way, Oakland, they do this every year with Greg Campy. Just they always have the most insane non-conference schedule of all time. They got to play number 1 Purdue on Friday after playing Michigan on Monday. Just a crazy start to the season for the Golden Grizzlies.
Tough scene for them.
Let's do a little bit of baseball news here before we move on. Jack Flaherty, as expected, picks up his $20 million option to stay with the Tigers. This shouldn't be a shock to anyone because he wasn't going to get $20 million anywhere else.
Yeah, I was holding out hope that he'd walk away.
I guess there was a little bit of a chance if he wanted to get a 3-year deal from somebody.
Yeah.
But this makes more sense for him to kind of have another prove-it year this season because if he does bounce back and have a solid season this year, then he will go get that 3-year deal from someone.
Well, we just need consistency from him. I want to know what version of Jack Flaherty I'm getting on a start-to-start basis because I felt like whatever month of the season it was just completely different person.
Right. But then by the end of the year, we were kind of feeling confident in Jack Flaherty. Yeah, exactly. You felt good about him at the end of the year. So I don't know. We'll see. MLB free agency, by the way, opens up tomorrow at 5 p.m.
And it lasts for 6 months. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. I want to do some winners and whiners when we come back. Like I said, live on 100.9 The Mitt. We got our Mitt messages to text into. We've got the YouTube as well. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying the show. Appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Stay secure, stay connected, stay ahead with Linked Technologies, your local IT experts in Midland. From small businesses to large operations, they provide custom tech solutions that actually make your life a little bit easier. Specializing in networking, cybersecurity, cloud services, and everything in between, like managed IT support. And it's all under one roof. Fast, reliable service with real people you can actually speak with, whether you're upgrading, protecting, or troubleshooting. Linked Technologies keeps your systems running smooth. Visit linkedtechsolutions.com and see how they can help your business work smarter, not harder.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. I'm Kevin Spencer, an Edward Jones financial advisor here in Midland. Let's work together on an investment strategy for long-term results. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future.
Call Kevin Spencer, your local Edward Jones financial advisor in Midland, 989-832-8428, or visit edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Fueled by wonder and powered by science. At Dow, we're imagining better things for our customers and communities. It starts with our commitment to reach carbon neutrality by 2050. Designing, building, and inspiring for the world around us. Because when we wonder, the things our world needs could be just one breakthrough away. That's Dow.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Sharon Mortensen, President and CEO of the Midland Area Community Foundation.
Well, a couple things I'll mention. One I'm really proud of is the work we've done on post-secondary education, because when we think about what really transforms an individual's life, it's education. That makes such a difference in the ability to be able to have a livable wage, to be able to contribute to your community, to be able to give back. So the work that we've done in the post-secondary space, because we give out a lot of scholarships, but when I got there, I went, it seems like we're just a processor of scholarships. I want to be a promoter of education.
Yeah. Listen to the full episode on YouTube at 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
The high school football game of the week, presented by the Forward Corporation.
It's the district final round. The 9-1 Dow Chargers keep surging. They host the 5-5 East Lansing Trojans at Midland Community Stadium. Dow's looking for their first district title since 2015. Dow and East Lansing, pregame coverage at 6:50 Friday night.
Don't miss any of the action on the Great Lakes Bay region's home for sports. Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt. Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters?
Yeah.
100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
From Midland to Bay City, Saginaw to Sanford, From Frankenmuth, Freeland, and Hemlock to Auburn, Essexville, and Pinconning, 100.9 The Mitt is the heartbeat of the Great Lakes Bay region and proud of it. We're your home for local sports, local stories, and local pride. Whether you're in Birch Run, Beaverton, Gladwin, Chesaning, or Coleman, football, basketball, hockey, Spartans, NFL, Loons, all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
They tell us we're more connected these days. We have cell phones, email, text messaging, yet we've never felt more disconnected from the people we care about the most. We need a place that's all about bringing us together. Say hello to the Great Lakes Bay region, where towns like Saginaw, Midland, Bay City, Birch Run, Chesaning, and Frankenmuth help us leave behind the overscheduled world we live in and visit a place we haven't seen in a while, one where the people make us feel right at home. And we remember just how bright our kids' eyes get, peeking through a riverboat railing, just to catch a glimpse of the wildlife. So let's go fishing, bird watching. Let's blow the suds off a local tap, take a tall ship dinner cruise at sunset, or stop by a festival just because the name made us smile. Right here in the Great Lakes Bay region, where reconnecting with what really matters is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, welcome back in. Winners and Whiners for this fabulous Wednesday where we're giving away Michigan State tickets in about 30 minutes. First up, I want to do, let's start with a winner, all right? Ben Johnson. Take a listen to this post-game interview or post-game locker room celebration video with Ben Johnson and the Bears after they picked up another win.
Hell yeah! 5 right there! 5 wins, man! 5 points, 5-3, and I know it wasn't pretty, but don't apologize for a win in this league, guys. Don't apologize. We did what we had to do.
You know, he took a pretty big L week 2 in Ford Field, but they have kind of, despite Caleb Williams, I don't think being fantastic, they have mounted themselves into at least playoff contention. I don't know if they're a great team or not, but they're kind of thriving right now. Meanwhile, the Lions offense just struggling to do the basic run the football stuff. So I think Ben Johnson's kind of a winner this week. I also think Aaron Glenn is maybe the biggest winner of the week, with the Jets deciding to go full fire sale and basically saying, hey, Aaron Glenn, we're hitting the reset button. You're here to stay. Your job's not under, you're not under a microscope at all. We're actually giving you an even longer leash. So I think both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are winners this week.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Ben Johnson has just fully taken on this mindset that Dan Campbell has had, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this was always Dan Campbell's thing, like especially in the early days when they started to pick up wins. That sounded like it precisely, word for word, what Dan Campbell used to always say. Don't apologize for a win in this league. Like he always implemented, it is hard to win games in this league. They made it obvious when they started 0-10-1 or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I honestly still, I know everyone has their feelings and thoughts about Ben Johnson. I was kind of mixed about him because I was always like, I still like Ben Johnson until he did that thing with the sideline reporter, and then I was like, come on, man, like that is just not cool. But now I'm kind of like liking Ben Johnson again. I don't know. I have a really mixed relationship with the guy.
So it's
and Aaron Glenn I love still.
It's interesting too because when Ben Johnson got hired, and the entire time he was, the 2 off seasons in which he might have gotten hired, it was, we know he's a great play caller, but can he be a head coach? Is he a leader of men? And I feel like we are getting more and more knowing that he might actually check the box of that second thing as well.
I didn't think he was. I
didn't think so either.
Obviously, when you see him during games, and this is really all we got from him when he was with the Lions, he is the most stone-faced guy ever.
He doesn't talk. He doesn't get excited.
But even like when he's been with the Bears, like during the games, they'll get a big play and he's just sitting there like not any reaction. And so you kind of figured he was that type of guy.
Yeah, after Caleb Williams hands it off to his tight end Colson Loveland, who throws it back to Caleb Williams, who launches a ball down the field. Like they have 4 trick plays a game. We thought it was crazy in Detroit.
Tyson Bagent was out there twice. with two quarterback, like with both QBs out there. That was awesome. That play was crazy.
Colson Loveland threw a pass. Caleb Williams caught a screen pass.
DJ Moore had a touchdown pass to Caleb Williams.
This is all in the same game. He's just like
Caleb
out
Williams
of his mind right now.
Yeah, it's unreal. But yeah, as far as like being the leader of men thing and being this like go-getter guy, we always maybe doubted that a little bit. And looking back on it, I'm not really sure why we did, because he was with Dan Campbell his whole career. Like, of course he's like this. He's honestly crazier in the postgame than Dan Campbell is. He is a psychopath, man, but like in a good way.
Yeah. I don't think the Bears are threatening to make any real noise in the NFC this year, but like we talked about, the 7 seed in the NFC could be bad, and it could be them. I'm not going to be shocked.
Yeah,
they're definitely not ruled out of it. The whiner of the week. The whiner of the week just has to be Chase Brown. Take a listen.
We just got to play complimentary football. Like, we put the ball in the end zone and go up a point at the end, finish the game. Like, just end it. Like, that's it. Like, that's what we need to do. Just end the game. Like, make them get us the ball back. Let us can go to 22 victory and let's end the game. That's how I feel.
So, look, I agree with them. The defense is bad. In fact, I looked it up. It is the worst points per game defense the NFL has seen since the 1970 merger. 33.3 points per game would be an all-time record, tied with the 81 Indianapolis Colts. They suck on defense. It'd be an understatement. But you can't be throwing your team under the bus like that and saying, hey, we scored, but our defense, you can't say that.
You can't. I mean, those guys are your teammates, man. Like, I get the frustration, but like, I don't know.
You can't do it.
You can't do that. You cannot be like, man, our team stinks. Like that, you can't. Those guys are your teammates. Like, you're going to be in the locker room with them after you're done speaking to the media. You can't say that.
I get the frustration.
Totally.
I think every Bengals media member, every teammate feels the same way, but you can't, in front of a microphone, when you know it's going to go viral in this day and age, start chucking your teammates under the bus and then get in the bus and back up. You can't do that.
And Zach Taylor, in his press conference, obviously talked about Chase Brown. He was like, yeah, Chase Brown's a leader on this team. He can't be saying that. Like, he can't. He's not going to say it again. He can't be saying that. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe got a little bit of a fine from the team as well, because you just can't do that. The defense is terrible, for sure.
Worst defense ever, maybe.
Right. But at the end of the day, you just can't be saying that.
What did we say it was yesterday? They had the Bears had a 99.6% chance to win with like a minute and a half left, and then the Bengals had an 86% chance to win with like 40 seconds left, and somehow they can't get a stop.
And didn't cover.
Right. More importantly, they did not cover the spread either. Those are our winners and whiners of the week. Am I forgetting anybody else? Non-trade deadline related, because we're going to do winners and losers for that in the 10 o'clock hour a little bit later on. But am I missing any whiners? Was there someone making some noise, whining a little bit that I'd missed?
I was trying to think about if there was a good college basketball one with the college hoop season tipping off early on. I don't really think so, though. Maybe Desmond Bain is a whiner after last night. I don't know if you saw that. He got ejected from the game because
I did see this.
He ripped Okongwu to the ground and then took the ball and threw the ball at his head.
Yeah.
So just
double. That's a little whiny.
A double whiny. He's also been playing really bad. So, like, it's kind of a result of that. So maybe he's a bit of a whiner. Maybe we're whiners after our basketball game last night.
No, we can't talk about that. we really can't talk about that without getting a little bit frustrated.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the biggest winner of the week is Aaron Glenn, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. We'll do our trade deadline winners and losers when we take a trip around the league. We're going to talk to Chris Castellani at 11 o'clock to go over a whole bunch of different stuff. But I guess, this is where I stand on the Lions trade deadline. I'm just not upset about them doing absolutely nothing because I don't know what they were supposed to do. If you're mad about them doing nothing, please, I'm actually asking you, tell me what you wanted them to do, because I don't see a move that would have actually helped the Lions other than adding another guy on the roster just for the sake of it. If they were going to make a move at the deadline, it was going to be one of those. Hey, this guy's here now. He's gonna be practicing with us. Cool. Is he gonna play? Probably not. There wasn't an impact player to trade for at this year's deadline, despite there being 22 guys that ended up getting moved at some point this year.
And I saw in our YouTube chat someone mentioned, did you guys forget that Trevor Penning got traded? He's an offensive tackle. He's not he's an offensive lineman that got moved. Yes, the lone O-lineman that got traded. He's a tackle. Lions aren't trading for a tackle.
And the Chargers were desperate to get
both
another
of their
tackle.
starting tackles are done for the season.
Both of their Pro Bowl starting tackles are done for the season.
Right.
So, yeah, they were going to find an offensive tackle to trade for.
And the Lions don't need a tackle. They needed an interior guy. 0 of them got traded. 0 of them got traded last year. Trust me, I agree that there's a need there. Not doubting that. 100% there's a need there. There just isn't guys to trade for there. That's why they signed guys instead of trading for guys.
Yeah, they picked up this player from the Patriots practice squad who's played all over the place in his short NFL career back in his college days at Boston College. He was teammates with Christian Mahogany, played everywhere on the offensive line. That's the kind of guy you would have traded for anyway, a guy that's going to just be here practicing a depth piece at some certain position. It was never going to be the Sauce Gardners of the world. It was never going to be the Quinnen Williams of the world that ended up getting moved. And also, by the way, that's just an insane thing to do at the trade deadline. This never happens. This was one of the wonkiest trade deadlines ever. But guess what? Kansas City sat out. Buffalo sat out. The Lions sat out. Does that make them a bad team? Does that make the Lions and Kansas City and Buffalo bad franchises? And the Rams too? No, those are all perennial playoff teams. Organizations that know what they're doing. There is no need to be upset with Brad Holmes here. He hits at 80% of his moves. Certainly not perfect, but we'll get into more when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show on the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Sharon Mortensen, President and CEO of the Midland Area Community Foundation.
Well, a couple things I'll mention. One I'm really proud of is the work we've done on post-secondary education, because when we think about what really transforms an individual's life, it's education. Mm-hmm. That makes such a difference in the ability to be able to have a livable wage, to be able to contribute to your community, to be able to give back. So the work that we've done in the post-secondary space, because we give out a lot of scholarships, but when I got there, I went, it seems like we're just a processor of scholarships. I want to be a promoter of education.
Yeah. Listen to the full episode on YouTube at 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Transform your outdoor space with Maple Hill Nursery. Whether you're a gardening enthusiast or just looking to relax in style, they have everything you need. From premium polywood furniture that never needs painting to top quality plants and trees, Maple Hill Nursery has it all. Plus, they offer free setup and delivery on in-stock barbecue grills. Visit them today just north of Midland Mall or check out their website for pro tips and expert advice. Maple Hill Nursery, making your yard the place to be.
Midland Eye Care wants you to know the pervasive use of technology can lead to digital eye strain, burning or tired eyes, headaches, fatigue, loss of focus, blurred or double vision. Overexposure light from electronic devices may also increase the likelihood of developing serious eye conditions such as age-related macular degeneration. To give your eyes a rest, remember 20-20-20. Every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break and look at something 20 feet away. This message brought to you by Midland Eye Care, your vision source on Eastman Road in Midland, on Cedar and Gladwin, and now on East Washington in Freeland.
We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Looms. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
So obviously the Lions' rushing attack has struggled this season. This has been the bread and butter of the team. This has been what the identity has been built on for years. Ever since Dan Campbell showed up, their goal has been to be able to run the rock, run the pigskin. And so far this season, they haven't been able to do that. I think a really good stat to point to as to show the lack of success here is Jahmyr Gibbs having 10-plus rushing yard attempts. Or Jahmyr Gibbs having 10-plus yard runs. Does that make sense? I know the double tens is kind of confusing there.
10 of them.
10 of those type of runs, 10-plus yards. The verbiage on it is just the double tens is throwing me off. And that's through 8 games. Okay, so that would put him on pace for like 22, right? If I'm doing that math right, 20, 22, somewhere in that range. So how many do you think he had last year?
Yeah. This had to be a ton, right? I would say probably like 30 at least.
Higher.
40? No way.
41.
Wow, that is a ton.
41 10-plus yard runs last year. I believe it led the NFL. Or it was second behind Saquon and Derrick Henry. Those 3 guys I remember were so far ahead of everybody else.
Probably had 40 20-yard runs last year.
Yes. Jahmyr Gibbs he had 25 15-plus yard runs. This year he has 7. So I guess that one's pacing fine. But it's the explosive stuff that is just not there for Jahmyr Gibbs this season. How many times a game does Jahmyr Gibbs get tackled at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage or within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage? All right, he's averaging 4.9 yards per attempt. Last year it was 5.6. So a 0.7 yard difference. It doesn't sound like a whole lot. That's a lot. The explosive plays are just not there anymore, and I can't help but to think, I know this is mostly an interior offensive line issue, right? But if you actually look at the PFF grades, Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany have graded out fine in the run department. They have been terrible pass blockers, according to the PFF grades, but they've been fine in the run game. Glasgow has really struggled, and maybe that's ruining a lot of different run plays. But I also think there's been a lack of creativity in the run game. Remember all the preseason stuff about, hey, they're running all these sets with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery sharing the field together. We're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs as a weapon way more on the outside as a receiver. Feels like the only time he catches the ball is out of the backfield on a little like safety valve route, not actually like in the slot at all. Do you think Ben Johnson would make this offense a little bit better? And I know this is going to be a conversation that we come in and out of like all the time for the rest of eternity. And after they destroyed the Bears week 2, it was like, cool, we don't need Ben Johnson. And I'm not saying the Lions need Ben Johnson, but we're not going to act like this wouldn't be a little bit better with him, right? I don't know how much it fixes the offensive line issues, but I think the creativity, at the very least, would be in effect here where we could get Jahmyr Gibbs going a little bit. Because outside of that humongous game against the Bucs, he's had a somewhat quiet and somewhat disappointing season considering the expectations coming into this one.
True. I mean, this is obviously a major hypothetical here. John Morton has been catching a good amount of flack these last 2 weeks, at least from Lions fans. It seems like there's a bit of a frustration building there. Just the scheme of, obviously, the offensive line not being as good, but not scheming for it, I think has kind of frustrated some fans based on what Ben Johnson did last year and just based on how successful he's been as the head coach in Chicago. I think that you would feel confident about Ben Johnson to at least mitigate the offensive line struggles, right?
Uh-huh.
You would feel that he would dial up some sort of offense that could figure things out with how quickly guys are getting to Jared Goff. I think that probably is something you would feel more confident in, sure.
Doesn't it feel like we're missing like a misleading direction kind of stuff, like the pre-stat motions, just a lot of like disguise stuff where you got like 2 offensive linemen or a tight end moving this way and then they end up running it the other way. The run game seems very straightforward right now, where it's like, hey, we're just going to run like head on right here to the A gap or head on right here to the C gap. And there's not a lot of misdirection or anything that I think we saw a lot of Ben Johnson. Even if it's just a simple Sam Laporta pulls to the left or Brock Wright, they end up running to the right. Like I'm not seeing a lot of that on TV right now.
I'm even just thinking like, how many times last year did we run the football and get 0 or 1 yards?
Not
We might
ever.
have more this year than we did the entire season last year.
Yeah.
There's so many times, even in just this game against Minnesota, it's just like 1 or 0 yard gain on 1st and 10, and it's just
Cool. Here comes 2nd and 10, and now you're behind the sticks.
exactly. Like it's a Lions offense, so you're just not used to the amount of 3 and outs that they had this week, and the game against Tampa, the amount of times the defense would force a turnover or make a huge stop, and then the Lions offense gets the ball back and they go 3 and out. It's like, man, this team last year took advantage of all of these opportunities the defense gave them. And it seems like this season, specifically in the last 2 games, can't complain that much about the Tampa game because the defense was so awesome. But still, the offense has just been sluggish, and it has struggled to continuously have these longer drives. They come out in the first drive of the game.
They score.
And it's like, man, it looks like this is going to be a good game. And then after that, man, the offense just really struggles to continuously get something going. It feels like they're stuck in a 3rd and longer type of situation. We talked about it on Monday's show. This is a Lions offense that all year, up until that David Montgomery run this past week, had yet to convert on 3rd and 10 or plus this season. That's unreal. And then technically they really didn't because Montgomery fumbled it after picking up the first down. So
yeah, and it feels like there's been a common theme of miscommunication, whether that's on the offensive line or on Sunday when we saw Laporta and St. Brown both in motion, and then we get flagged for it. It's like, what's going on here? Why is there like a clear miscommunication? Does John Moore need to come down on the sideline like Ben Johnson did? Is he not seeing something? Does he need to get more creative in terms of getting Gibbs going, whether it's like outside zones, misdirection? I'm not even talking trick plays. But that was my favorite part about Ben Johnson. It wasn't the trick plays, but it was the simple, like, we're just going to keep the defense on their toes because we're going to send 3 guys this way pre-snap, and then we're going to jet someone across, and it's just going to confuse the defense, and then we're going to run it right where you kind of expected, but it was where you least expected, actually. That kind of stuff is what I loved about Ben Johnson, and setting guys up for later on in the play or later on in the game with plays from earlier in the game. And it feels like right now it's John Morton saying, well, we don't need to disguise anything. I think we still have the best offensive line in football. Let's just run it right at their face like it's 3rd and 1. And that's just not working right now. That's because of the offensive line. But I think it can be schemed around a little bit better. And I feel like Ben Johnson would be doing that for the Lions.
Probably. And the issue is Ben Johnson would have gotten to see it with how good this offensive line was. I know Morton was here 2 seasons ago, but obviously the Lions' offensive line hasn't been this rough since the first opening season of Dan
since
Campbell.
Penei Sewell's rookie year.
Right, exactly. And so John Morton has now taken over an offense that's been basically held up by this awesome offensive line the last several seasons, and now it's just not as good this year, and you still want to do the same stuff that they've done the last several seasons, right? Why would you not?
Can't.
And it has worked some games, but now that they are dealing with all of these injuries, and when you face these defenses that are so good at getting to the quarterback, it's very difficult to try to replicate what the Lions had done offensively the last couple of years.
The lack of explosive plays, I think, is what is the most frustrating for me. Jahmyr Gibbs specifically. Like, this is someone, I hate to use the word disappointing, but I don't really know what other word to use. We both thought he was going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. That's just not happening. Like, it's just not. He's had one amazing game, and other than that, I'm not going to say he's been quiet, but he hasn't been used in the way that I think we thought he would based on all the training camp stories about, oh, look at the way they're using him, these 2 running back sets. He's going to be used as a receiver. Finally, after 3 seasons, we're going to do it. That hasn't been the case at all. Like, remember the first couple weeks of the season, they were sharing the field together a lot, Gibbs and Montgomery, and now it's just like you don't see them both out there ever. What happened to that? What happened to that big I formation or that old school like 4 guys lined up behind Jared Goff that they were running at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, the Maryland I.
What happened to the handing it off to St. Brown? Like, they were doing that at the beginning of the year. It feels like as the seasons went on, they have gotten less creative in the run game. It's like John Morton was like, it's almost as if he's like, I'm going to come up with a lot of trick plays, or not even trick plays, but just like creative plays too. And he burned them all the first couple weeks of the season, and now it's just back to the basics. I'm not calling for his head or anything, but
well, and like once again,
when you go from Johnson to Morton, Johnson to anybody, like it's just going to feel a little bit more bland than it has the last few weeks.
And once again, we talked about this, but like you mentioned how Jahmyr Gibbs has been a little bit disappointing just from not having these humongous games like we expected him to this season. I don't think overall he's been disappointing. It's just we had super high expectations. If you would have told us that in 8 games into the season, that's how we were feeling, then maybe you would have assumed that David Montgomery is still completely involved and this is a 1A, 1B situation.
Right.
And it's just not. This is clearly now a Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery is his backup. And Montgomery has really struggled as well to get things going too. So overall, the run game is frustrating, and obviously you add on top of that Goff is getting under pressure way more than he was last season, and it hasn't looked good. For sure, it makes you feel a little bit like, man, what if Ben Johnson was here to fix this stuff? But he's not.
Can't help but to wonder. 989-837-6125. Let's get to our MSU Big Win Wednesday ticket giveaway when we come back. We're going to give away 2 tickets to the Michigan State versus Penn State game. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. It's Michigan State's last home game of the year. Not technically, because they have that game in Ford Field, right? That last game of the season is technically a home game, but they got it taken away.
Against Maryland, yes. It's at Ford Field.
This is the last game in Spartan Stadium of the season, so if you haven't gotten a chance to go tailgate, I know Michigan State's not putting together the best season. But
hey, somebody's got to win a Big Ten game in that one, though. You know?
Yeah.
They're playing for something there.
Chance to go tailgate, spend a day in East Lansing. We're giving away 2 tickets when we come back. You just got to text in the keyword. I'll tell you what that is when we return. 10 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Corning. Corning is creating life-changing innovations, one breakthrough at a time, a global leader in material science right here in Midland. From the glass in your smartphone to innovations that power clean energy and advanced medicine, Corning's shaping the future. But it's not just about the tech. It is, in fact, about the people. Corning invests in the community, supports local schools, and creates opportunities that are close to home. With a legacy of innovation and commitment to what's next, Corning is proud to call Midland a part of its story. Corning creating life-changing innovations, one breakthrough at a time.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
From the depths of the ocean to the farthest reaches of space, Corning's technologies push the boundaries of what's possible. We're the world's leading innovator in glass and ceramic science, and we're innovating right here in Michigan. Corning's solar wafer site in Hemlock is helping guarantee American energy security. We're investing in our local Michigan communities. That's why Corning is a proud sponsor of the Great Lakes Loons. Learn more about Corning today at corning.com.
It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9, The Mitt. This month's recipient is Max Stecker from Midland High School. With a 4.6 GPA, Max was a state-ranked discus and shot put thrower, and the SVL Blues 2024 Player of the Year in football. Max credits his parents for instilling the work ethic in athletics and academics.
Both my parents, my mom was a teacher, so over the summers I'd be doing math packets, everything like that, staying on top of things. And then, my dad would always just, be the really big encourager as far as sports go and stuff like that.
Max is now attending Northwood, a member of the Timberwolves football and track and field team. He's majoring in accounting and finance. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete, as we are now taking applications for our 2025-26 scholarship program. Visit 1009themint.com.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters?
Yeah.
100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today. And you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Michigan. This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, if you are wanting Michigan State tickets, it happened again. I went a long time without that happening, but it did in fact just happen again.
Laptop died?
Laptop
You
dead.
can run and go grab the charger. That's all right.
I'll give away the keyword first, though. How about that? The
That's a good idea.
keyword for today is...
Can he last to the drum roll? Oh, he's still thinking about the keyword.
Spartans. Just text Spartans. Let's keep it simple. Spartans to 989-837-6125 for a chance to win Michigan State versus Penn State tickets here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet, who sponsor every Big Win Wednesday. Kyle, do me a favor. What was the upcoming segment on the rundown?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about Brad Holmes comparing him to Scott Harris. Right. Because, Ben, here's my question for you, Ben. You were the guy that was like, Scott Harris has got to make this move and make that move and trade away all the prospects. What's the difference between Brad Holmes not trading away the picks then, Ben?
Because there wasn't a player to add to the Lions that was worth giving up picks for. Unlike the Tiger situation where you could have given up prospects to land a Geno Suarez. That's a player who could have helped you this year at least beat Seattle. Right? Geno Suarez hits a home run against the Tigers in the postseason. He could have been hitting home runs for the Tigers this postseason. And that is a real position of need. You could have went and got a third baseman, a right-handed hitter, a power bat. That is check, 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 everything that the Tigers needed at this last deadline this summer. As for the Lions, you look around the league, who could have helped you? It's interior offensive linemen, but none of them get moved. So that's the difference. It's the players around the league that were available could have helped the Tigers. I don't think that's the case for the Lions. Would Sauce Gardner have been an upgrade? Sure. We're not trading away 2 first-round picks. They're just not doing it. And you know what? With how successful Brad Holmes is in the first round of the draft, why would they? Why would they? The Colts are deciding to go all in on this season by bringing in Sauce Gardner and trading away 2 first-round picks. That could come back to bite them if they don't end up winning a Super Bowl. Like, that is a Super Bowl or bust type of trade. And the Lions, they have preached the ability to have long, sustaining success with this organization. Same way the Chiefs have done it. Same way the Bills have done it. Hell, let's think about the Chiefs' history. How many times have they been all in at the deadline, traded away multiple first-round picks?
I mean, the last time they went all in was trading a third-round pick for Kadarius Toney at the trade deadline.
And what have they?
How did that work out for them?
And what they do in the offseason after they made it to the Super Bowl? They traded away Tyreek Hill for multiple first-round picks. Like, that's the way the Chiefs did it, and they should be the organization that everyone looks to.
They do have Patrick Mahomes, though. I think that it is kind of difficult to compare that.
And that's totally fair, but it just comes back to there wasn't really a player to help the Detroit Lions. Of the 3 superstars that got traded in Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams and who was the last all-pro guy to get moved? Why am I drawing a blank?
Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner were really it, weren't they?
There's 3 former all-pros. Maybe one of them was a washed-up guy. But it does not make sense that for Brad Holmes to have traded one of those guys. They don't need defensive tackles. That's one of their best positions in terms of depth, in terms of they have young guys, in terms of they have stars right now with Aleem McNeil, DJ Reed, Durr. It would have made sense for the Lions to go all in on him. It wouldn't have made sense for the Lions to go all in on Sauce Gardner. It only would have made sense for them to move 4th and 5th round picks to acquire players that could have helped the Lions. The only players that could have helped the Lions, I think, were interior offensive linemen, and I don't think there were any of those guys available because there never is.
Well, and I also think if you're comparing this to Scott Harris, as far as from the Tigers' perspective, the reason why you want the Tigers to go all in was because at the trade deadline this past season, which was in July, you had a year and a half left of a World Series window with your best player on your team. Not saying the Tigers can't win one post-Tarek Skubal, but, man, you feel like you have a pretty good chance to with Tarek Skubal on the team. And so they have a window that's clearly closing with their best player on the team. The Lions aren't losing their best player on their team in a year and a half, so there was no need to necessarily put all your chips in because we are confident in this Lions window to last some years with your core 4 locked up in Goff, St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and now Aiden Hutchinson. Like, your top guys are all under contract, so you feel good about their chance to win a Super Bowl for the next so many amount of years. Mm-hmm. It's not like this is the year they can do it, whereas for the Tigers, you really felt like, man, this year feels really good for them to potentially win the World Series. At least they're not to actually...
Or the division.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't actually feel good about them winning the World Series, but, this is their best chance to do it. Whereas the Lions, I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, this is their best chance to do it. We could say the same thing next year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I will say the beginning of the Tiger season, that entire first half, we were pretty all in on the Tigers potentially going to the World Series.
Well, yeah. But
that faded, but we were there.
But it felt like the year for them to do it was this year,
yeah.
And I still do feel that way. I'm not saying they're going to beat the Dodgers, but, man, just going there would be sick, Giving yourself a chance to do that. And now it's like, well, you're a year away from Tarek Skubal being gone, and now's your last chance to do it with your best player on the team. The Lions aren't losing Penei Sewell. They're not losing Aiden Hutchinson. They're not losing Amon-Ra St. Brown. All their best players are still here.
And the way that you fill in the gaps elsewhere is via the draft, not the trade deadline. The way that you have sustainable success in the NFL is by drafting good players.
I mean, was trading for a back, like a third down edge rusher, going to make them from, I don't think this team is going anywhere in the playoffs, to they're winning the Super Bowl?
No.
There just wasn't, I just don't understand the frustration here. If you think they're not going to go on a deep playoff run, then that's fine. That's just how you feel, and we're not going to be able to change that way about how you feel. But they weren't going to make a move at the deadline that was going to launch them out of that territory if that's where you think they are.
No, there wasn't a move to make to catapult them to the top of the NFC power rankings.
That's just the part that I don't understand with all the frustration. If you think that they're not very good, then they're just not very good to you because they weren't going to make any trades that got them out of that.
The biggest move that anyone made over this season in the NFC was Micah Parsons going to Green Bay. And the Lions already had their own edge rusher. So forget about trading for Trey Hendrickson or Micah Parsons. I can't believe there was actual conversation about well, the Packers are willing to trade for him. Why can't the Lions? Because they already have one of those guys. They're not going to trade.
Who they had to pay.
Who they had to pay. Why on earth would they trade for Micah Parsons?
They literally
knowing they can't pay him.
Be able to trade or pay him, yeah.
That made no sense to me. And you get dummies talking about how, the Packers are willing to be aggressive. And the Lions are being aggressive. You know how they're being aggressive? By paying literally everyone that needs a new contract. That's the Lions' way of being aggressive. It just happens to not be via the trade deadline. They get aggressive in the draft. They want to get their guys. They do a good job of getting their guys under contract, maybe better than anyone else in the NFL. But they don't make a trade 1 year. It's the first time they've been inactive at the deadline, and people are ready to lose their minds. I just don't understand it. I really don't. 989-837-6125. We are going to give away Michigan State tickets thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet who sponsor Big Win Wednesday. When we come back, if you texted in the keyword Spartans, well, if you didn't, it's not too late. Go ahead and get another one of those in. If you did, be on the lookout for a text back. We're going to need confirmation from you to pick up these tickets. So if you texted, be on the lookout.
Check your phone.
We will pick a winner in the next few minutes, so be on the lookout. It's the Ben Bosscher Show here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Since 1940, Yiter Insurance Group has been a trusted friend to generations of your neighbors in the Great Lakes Bay region and across the country. Proudly representing auto owners insurance, we're licensed in nearly every state, so no matter where life takes you, we got you covered. And because we're an independent insurance agent, we don't believe in one size fits all. We work for you to find coverage that fits your life, your family, and your business. That's why families and businesses have relied on Yiter Insurance and auto owners for peace of mind. Yiter Insurance Group, local roots, national reach, and always your friend in the insurance business.
The Michigan Baseball Foundation is more than just baseball. It's a driver of economic growth and community. Operating one of the nation's top minor league stadiums, MBF supports job creation and regional development. Through creative partnerships and charitable giving, MBF has helped bring projects like Dow Diamond, the East End Development, Fairfield Inn and Suites, the Plaza, and the Dow Bay Area Family YMCA to life, generating over $23 million annually in economic impact. Every Great Lakes Loons ticket supports these efforts. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
The new rebranded Matt Smith Modern Realty.
Well, Matt Smith Outdoors was really reflective of how I started my real estate journey, taking my outdoor experience, moving that into the real estate space to help people buy and sell land. So many people in this region ended up calling me and wanting me to work with them to help them buy and sell homes. This new brand was more reflective of what I'm delivering to people in this region every day.
He got it! That's 3 of them! The Great Lakes Bay region's home for Spartans basketball.
Saturday season, early November, top 25 matchup. The 1-0, 22nd ranked MSU hosts number 14 Arkansas. The Spartans and Razorbacks. Coverage starts Saturday at 6, presented by Weiss Equipment.
Every MSU game all season long.
It's so fun to hear people chanting.
Right here on Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think we're nearing the end of the Jonathan Smith era at Michigan State. I think Scott Harris trading for a half dozen pitchers at the trade deadline is officially a failure considering how the season ended. I think the Detroit Lions are going to give the Packers an astronomical revenge whooping on Thanksgiving later this year. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show, weekdays from 9 to noon, presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got them on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
High school sports don't just happen. There's a ton of work that goes into every single athletic event.
And we have our school's athletic director to thank for a lot of it. Thank you.
For scheduling officials, so I can always play the game I love.
For ordering quality athletic equipment, so I can stay safe on the field.
For mentoring my coaches, so they can be the best role models for me.
For coordinating transportation, so I can get focused for the big game.
For helping us develop character and learn lessons that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
Thank you to our AD for always creating a positive experience for us. We'll never forget it.
From all of us at the NIAAA, thank you to every athletic administrator in Michigan for all you do to enrich the lives of your students. It does not go unnoticed. This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, we have reached out to our winner, so if you got a text message, make sure you text us back to confirm you can get these tickets. Again, that's Big Win Wednesday, thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet. If we don't hear back from them, we'll have to pick a new winner by the end of the show. All right, with that being said, allow us to take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Let's keep it simple today. Winners and losers from the NFL trade deadline yesterday. Okay?
I'm in.
I'll kick things off. I'm going to go with Breece Hall as a loser. He watches all his buddies get traded away, go to, I guess not all contending teams, but like they're leaving the Jets. They're leaving the mess. The Jets are committed to being bad the rest of the season. He's the lone public guy, or a guy who's publicly asking to be out. There's all these rumors that he's going to be on the Chiefs. He's going to go be the running back for Mahomes. He's going to go be in the playoffs for the first time. Nope. He's sticking around. So I think the biggest loser is by far Breece Hall.
I mean, he is probably going to get paid by the Jets, which is the team that would probably pay him the most rather than a team that would be trading for him, and then he hits free agency. So I guess from a financial standpoint, maybe he's a winner. But I'm with you here, especially because a report came out that the Chiefs actually were trying to trade for Breece Hall. They offered a 4th-round pick for him, and the Jets wanted a 3, no matter what.
That's crazy.
Well, but if they're willing to extend him, I don't think it's crazy.
If they're willing to extend him, yeah, I guess you're right.
Because if they're willing to keep him, then it's like, okay, well then, yeah, if you think he's worth a 3rd-round pick and you're not getting it, then just keep him and pay him. I don't think it's that bad of a philosophy. But also, kind of surprised the Chiefs didn't give up a 3rd-round pick for him. You know? Like, he would be an elite weapon in that. I don't think he's like some crazy good running back, but man, compared to what they have, like, he would have been great for them.
Kareem Hunt is good for one thing, and it's good. He's good for picking up like the 3rd and 1.
Yeah, he's good for scoring inside the 5-yard line because Mahomes doesn't tush-push.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I have him in fantasy. I know. But, there's no explosive runs from Pacheco or Hunt anymore. I don't know what happened to Pacheco, but ever since he came back from injury, he just has not been the same. That was last year. So, yeah, Breece Hall I have as the big loser. Winner. I have the Seahawks. For getting Rashid Shaheed, Clint Kubiak, the OC out there, was once upon a time last year the OC for the Saints that started out real hot with Derek Carr.
Right.
And now he's replicated that, a little bit more sustainable version of it. Needed to go get his speedster, needed to go get a guy to take the top off the defense. And that's exactly what they get with Rashid Shaheed, who quietly has more yards than Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, and DK Metcalf this season.
And Brian Thomas.
Yeah, everybody has more yards than Brian Thomas. So
that was mainly shot towards you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I love Rashid Shaheed, by the way. Like, one of my favorite players, obviously, because he has the coolest name ever. He rocks number 22 as a wide receiver, and he's just a consistent, like, 70-yard touchdown catch guy. Those are the funnest guys ever. I will say, though, it seemed like they had maybe unlocked that guy in Torrey Horton, one of their rookies picked from this past season that has really kind of developed really well these last couple weeks, and with Cooper Kupp out, looked like a really good wide receiver, too. Not really sure how much they need Rashid Shaheed. They didn't pay a big price for him, so I'm not saying, like, they shouldn't have done it, but I don't know. I don't know how much they necessarily needed him. I think he'll be really good for them, though, for sure.
I just think this means Cooper Kupp is done.
Yeah, I mean, Kupp missed last week. Obviously, Kupp and Shaheed are much different types of receivers, so Kupp is still going to play if he is healthy. But is he healthy? I don't really know.
Is he ever healthy?
Yeah, it stinks.
I have the Jets as a winner here. And it's mostly, I think, you know what? I have Aaron Glenn as a winner here. The Jets, in a vacuum, to have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years sounds awesome. It also sounds awesome to have 2 great defensive players in Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. Like, that's the players you're trying to draft with those first 5 picks. You're also trying to get a quarterback. It was nice that they kept the Wilson. Like, I don't think this is... It was smart to not get rid of everyone on the team. You can't get rid of everybody and get all the first-round picks. But to have 5 first-round picks, it's nice. They just still have a lot of work to do. The real winner here is Aaron Glenn, who the team has basically said, I don't know, these moves to me sound like, hey, Aaron Glenn, you're not going anywhere. We believe in you to build the culture of this thing. We're going to be patient with you. We're hitting the reset button with you here, knowing that you're going to have some time. I think he's on a long leash. I think he's the winner.
Yeah, I think so, too. This news broke yesterday, like right after the show, and there was no inkling of Sauce Gardner being dealt. I would assume this is one of those things that the Jets weren't shopping around Sauce Gardner, but the Colts called and threw their offer of 2 first-round picks, and you hear 2 first-round picks for any non-quarterback, and you're obviously going to think about it. And Sauce Gardner it's a great return for a great player, for sure, but the fact that they extended him, because this would be different if he was needing to be paid, you probably don't get quite enough value. The fact that they extended him this offseason and then were able to flip him for 2 firsts, pretty good work by the Jets. Obviously, we'll see if they get a player as good as Sauce Gardner with one of those picks. But I think if you get the quarterback right, then it doesn't necessarily matter.
I Can't believe we went this long without mentioning the Colts. I have them as losers. And this is going to sound like I'm all for being aggressive.
Not today.
This seems a little too aggressive for a team that showed some signs of success for 2 months. And then they decided to go not just become buyers, but be all in on Daniel Jones and all in on this season and burn a first-round pick.
This is more than all in on this season. Yeah, this is all in on next season, too, without that first.
Do not forget, the Colts have a new owner there now that Jim Irsay is gone. His daughter has taken over. To me, this sounds a little bit like new owner syndrome. The new owner comes in, wants to be good right away, wants to make a splash, and gets a little bit ahead of themselves and pulls the trigger on something a little too early. The prime example of this is Matt Ishbia buying the Suns and trading for Kevin Durant and just giving up way too much to do it because he wanted to compete right away. That has put the Suns back years out west. This seems like a move where that is entirely possible. The only, and I mean the only way this works is if the Colts win the Super Bowl this season. And I don't know, man. They're in London this week. They're fresh off of a loss to Pittsburgh. Is it going to be that shocking if Atlanta beats them in Germany? Yeah, they're in Germany, not London. Is it going to be that shocking if they lose that game? They bottom out and go 4-3 the rest of the way. They lose out on the 1 seed and then have to go on the road to Arrowhead or Buffalo week 1 and then just lose. Then what? Then you don't have your first round picks the next 2 years and you still have Daniel Jones as your quarterback? I don't know.
This also forces you to pay Daniel Jones, which probably they were going to have to do anyways. But Daniel Jones obviously on a 1-year contract is going to be up for a probably big-time extension this offseason because you have to pay him, right? You don't have a pick to draft a quarterback. You're not going to trade for another quarterback, so this forces you to pay him. I'm not saying that Daniel Jones has been I'm not going to write off everything we've seen this season. He has been great this season for Indianapolis. But I just think that it wouldn't shock anyone if he comes back to the means a little bit at some point. And now you're kind of forced to give him some mega extension that maybe you weren't going to prior to making this trade.
Yeah, man. Feels a little bit aggressive for my liking. I had the Cowboys written down as losers, but I don't know. When you put it this way, tell me what you think. In a vacuum, the Cowboys traded, I guess not in a vacuum, the opposite. Grand scheme of things, they traded Logan Wilson, Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, first rounder. That's what they got. And they traded Micah Parsons in a 7th. So they get 3 players on defense, including an all-pro person. Kenny Clark, he might have been an all-pro at one point, too.
Yeah, he was.
For Micah Parsons in a 7th. Sounds kind of good when you put it that way, but I still think I'd rather just have the guy who's favored to win
I'd rather just
decoy.
have Micah Parsons. That to me, it's less of the Cowboys are losers, and I think Micah Parsons and Green Bay are kind of just the winners of this. You basically finesse the Cowboys because the Cowboys still wanted to compete and they still wanted to use that capital to get other players. Why not just keep Micah Parsons? I guess you added an extra first-round pick. I still don't love the fact that they traded their first rounder next year instead of trading one of the Green Bay ones. Would we be shocked if the Cowboys flamed out and were bad next year? They're bad right now.
Yeah, they're not a good team right now.
Yeah, so I don't love the idea of moving off of your first round pick next year. Quinnen Williams is a great player, so that's going to help them out a ton, especially defensively where they've been terrible. So I don't know. I think to me it's more of Micah and Green Bay just won this whole thing because Dallas seemed like they were forced into making a move because they traded away Micah.
Williams has beaten 57 double teams since 2022, the most over that span for defensive tackles, the 4th most total pressures since 2022, since that span too. That's all great. I'd rather have the guy who's favored to win Defensive Player of the Year than a more impactful position. Sorry, Dallas. I have Jacoby Myers as a winner because he's going from Geno Smith to Trevor Lawrence. So he's going from the 31st best quarterback in the NFL to the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL. Huge upgrade there, and no state income tax. So his life got marginally better.
Sure, I guess. I'm in the boat of doesn't matter. Parker Washington's still going to be wide receiver 1 in this offense no matter what.
Somehow, some way.
No matter who's there.
And I also had Jalen Waddle as a loser because he still has Tua Tagovailoa as his quarterback as of right now. There were some rumors that he was going to end up in Denver. You see that?
Yeah,
the Denver called Miami, tried trading for him. That could have been really fun.
I've always felt that the guys that get the ball a ton, though, how much does their situation stink? With Tyreek Hill hurt, Waddle's just been, like, insanely productive. Like, yeah, obviously not being good, of course, sucks. But, like, wide receivers, I think most of them care about getting the ball more than they care about anything. And he gets the ball a lot. So, like, how much of a loser really is he?
Not J-Mo. J-Mo wants to win. Doesn't care about getting the ball.
Good point.
All right, that's going to do. Oh, I had one more. Kamara fantasy owners. I just can't believe Kamara's on the Saints still.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for Around the League. We do have our winner. Congratulations to Deontay from Saginaw, who's going to be going to the Michigan State game this weekend. Hopefully have a good time. Not this weekend. It's the following weekend against Penn State. Hopefully you have a good time. Tailgate, crack some cold ones, enjoy yourself. That is, what is that, November 15th?
Yeah, watch the Spartans lose.
Come on. Give them a shot. Penn State's been terrible this season. All right, congratulations to Deontay from Saginaw. That's Big Win Wednesday. Every Wednesday, thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet. All right, when we come back, still a lot to get to discuss with this trade deadline. We're going to have Chris Castellani coming on in a little bit. But I do want to discuss the very worst fan base on the planet when we come back. That's coming up on the Ben Bosscher Show here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
At Tommy's Express, you can get your car clean, shiny and dry in just minutes. Our state-of-the-art eco-friendly wash delivers a spotless finish every time. With the Tommy Club app, enjoy unlimited washes or paper wash. Skip the line with license plate recognition and manage everything right from your phone. Fast, clean, and simple. Visit Tommy's Express today and see the difference. Text CLEAN CAR to 86697 for a free works wash.
Offer valid for new guests only. By participating, you consent to receive promotional information text from Tommy's Express. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies.
Broken appliance? Don't panic. Call Mr. Appliance. With a 4.9-star Google rating, our expert service professionals deliver speedy service with a 1-year done-right promise, so you can count on long-lasting repairs. We treat your home or business with care, no mess, and no trace left behind. Ask about our appliance wellness program to keep things running smoothly year-round. Visit us online at MrAppliance.com for easy online scheduling and local contact information. Mr. Appliance, speedy, trusted, guaranteed.
At the Great Lakes Loons, our commitment to community goes beyond the ballpark. Through the Volunteer program, Loon staff and even players roll up their sleeves to serve the Great Lakes Bay region. From packing food boxes to reading in classrooms and even cleaning up local camps and parks, it's hands-on work that helps build a stronger, more connected community. Volunteer isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Because being part of this region means showing up when it counts. The Great Lakes Loons, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 2007.
The high school football game of the week, presented by the Forward Corporation.
It's the district final round. The 9-1 Dow Chargers keep surging. They host the 5-5 East Lansing Trojans at Midland Community Stadium. Dow's looking for their first district title since 2015. Dow and East Lansing, pregame coverage at 6:50 Friday night.
Don't miss any of the action on the Great Lakes Bay region's home for sports. Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt. From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt.
We got a game, boys.
This week on Sunday Night Football.
SoFi Stadium will see the 6-3 Los Angeles Chargers take on the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers on SNF. Both teams coming off a 27-20 win over their opponent in Week 9. Coverage at 7:30 Sunday night, presented by Ace Hardware, downtown Midland.
Don't miss a moment right here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
Let's pick out a good wine. Let's discover a new taste from a new place. Let's meet the people who handpick the grapes in places dedicated to the craft, in a land that only knows one way to grow things, rich and full. Welcome to Michigan, where the 4 seasons and 4 Great Lakes smile on the winemaker, where the quality of the wine is exceeded only by the warmth of the greeting waiting for us. And with more than 90 wineries, covering more than 13,000 acres, the harvest has never been better. So let's wander through lush vineyards, discover hidden treasures in vast cellars, and renew ourselves in comfortable tasting rooms. Let's all raise a glass. Let's gather our closest friends and become even closer. Because taking time to toast the beauty and bounty of life is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
(989-837-6125). I made a little prediction on I don't know, last Friday that it didn't end up working out. That ended up being very wrong. I thought the Lions were going to smoke the Vikings into oblivion and J.J. McCarthy was going to be really bad. God forbid I'm wrong once in a while. But we posted a reel of it on Instagram and TikTok, and it made its way to Vikings side of the internet. And mostly made its way there after the result of the Lions-Vikings game. And I was just reminded that the Vikings fans are the worst people on the entire planet. I cannot stand the Vikings fan base. They're the ones that started the entire conversation about Kirby Joseph being a dirty player. This is like multiple times that I've made my way to Vikings internet, and they just are the worst human beings you can think of. They think their franchise is this pristine, multiple Super Bowl winning franchise. They have all these banners hung. And in reality, this franchise has just as many Super Bowls as the Lions. I don't know why the Vikings fans believe they are this pristine franchise. I don't know why. But man, can I not stand the Minnesota Vikings fans. I hate the Packers as a team more than anybody. But when it comes to a fan base and who's annoying, it's by far the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe I'm burning bridges right now, but I don't even care. They're annoying.
Yeah, I mean, we also did see, compared to the rest of the NFC North fan bases, this one is probably the most similar to the Lions, if not, right? I think that they are very similar to the Lions fan base as far as like a very top-tier fan base. They put out for their team. They're crazy at the stadium, haven't won a ton of things in the playoffs, and don't have any Super Bowls. So I think that they're very comparable to Detroit. They're just really passionate. I mean, they're a lot like the Lions fans, right?
No, they're nothing like the Lions fans.
Oh, okay.
The Lions fans aren't starting narratives about players on the Vikings being dirty. The Kirby Joseph stuff still blows my mind. That was all started when Kirby Joseph just tackled someone a little too low for the Vikings fans' liking, and they just ran with it and decided to start calling him a dirty player. And then Stafford called him a dirty player on that mic'd up, and then it just like stuck around, and that's the reason Kirby Joseph wasn't a Pro Bowler last year. Like it just that's the kind of stuff where I can't stand it. Acting so pristine that your franchise has all these banners. It's like, come on, guys. Like we're on a similar level here. And the Lions are the ones that are back-to-back champs right now. I don't understand how they come up with this stuff in Minnesota. I really don't.
So does this make you dislike the team more? Because obviously we discuss this all the time, like most hated teams as Detroit fan bases. I certainly hate the Packers and Bears much more than the Vikings.
I don't hate the Bears. They've been so bad for so long that it's like I just don't really I don't despise the Bears.
I hate the Bears, man.
Why?
I just do. Every year it's their year, man. Every year it's the Bears' year. It never's the Bears' year.
Literally never. So, like, they're just over there. They're just like the little brother of the division. They're just off doing their own thing most of the time.
And it's like, oh, now maybe this year's their year. They're 5-3. Nah. Nope.
Yeah. It's
still have the Lions and Packers better.
Aren't the Vikings in third place, too? Or are the Vikings still in fourth?
Vikings are still in fourth.
Yeah, I still hate the Packers more than anybody, but it's the Vikings fan base just trolling online that sometimes I just have to put my phone down. Like, you know what? I can't do this right now. I can't deal with these people who...
Worse than the Packers fan base.
I think the Packers fan base is fine. They're not annoying.
Really?
They're not in your face about it. Like I think they're they have enough self-respect and self-awareness to know like this hasn't been their division the last couple of years. They know that the Lions are a respectable franchise. The Vikings just like don't. The Vikings fans do not think very highly of the Lions franchise. They think it's a joke. They think it's laughable that Dan Campbell should be Coach of the Year nomination. They think it's laughable that we think that we're this awesome franchise when in reality we've just been the most well-run franchise in the division for the last 5 years. And for some reason, the Minnesota fans can't accept it. It's weird. I don't like it.
But like do you not also feel the same way about the Minnesota franchise? I mean, you're just sitting here talking about like they're insanely overrated and haven't done anything.
Historically, yes. I think the world of their coaching staff.
Okay.
Like
yeah, totally.
Their coaching staff is phenomenal. Like we talk about it, arguably the best coaching staff in the league, well-rounded when it comes to like who's calling plays on each side's culture, head coach. Like they knock it out of the park with that sort of stuff. So do the Lions. Right? I feel like the Lions fans have respect for the Vikings organization. But the Vikings
they don't have
fans
bad years.
don't.
Like they really don't have bad years.
No, this was supposed to be the bad year, and it seems like they're going to bounce back. But the Vikings fans, I don't think can unsee the 2000s Lions. That's just always going to be who they are to them, and I don't understand how that's still a thing.
Right.
I guess is where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I just needed to get that off my chest. But as for the trade deadline, I know we've been talking about it all day, but it just continues. Like this is the story right now. Brad Holmes didn't do anything at this year's trade deadline, and I don't feel bad about it at all. There was no move for the Lions to make that would have vaulted them into this next tier of teams in the NFC. Because right now, to me, tell me if I'm wrong, I think the NFC is Lions, Rams, Eagles as the three top. Packers, Seahawks looming. Is there anything you'd change about that?
No, I think that's fair. I mean, you could say maybe the Seahawks are at the top with the way that they've looked, but I don't disagree that with at least it being Rams, Packers, Eagles at the top.
I think those are just more established franchises.
Right.
With more experienced quarterbacks. There's still something about Sam Darnold watching him pee down his legs twice last year to close the season.
Yeah, I mean that's always gonna be what we think about when we think about is Seattle for real? Well, what happened last year with Minnesota?
No, they weren't. So I don't know. To me, there's still another step for them to go. I don't think there's a move that would have made the Lions a clear number one. So for that reason, I'm just, and amongst others, I'm not all that concerned about them not doing anything at this year's deadline. And I don't really understand the frustration from a lot of other fans.
I just don't get it because, yeah, like you're saying, like even the big moves that were made, do we view the Colts as number one?
No, I still would have them third or fourth.
Do we view the Cowboys as like this, they're going to make the playoffs now?
Nope. They're probably going to miss out on the playoffs. They'd have to go on an incredible run to be in the postseason.
And those were the two major moves that were made. Obviously, the Seahawks, like there's the minor additions you can make for sure that you can make that make you feel good. But I don't know. I just think that, personally, I think that Lions fans had their opinion about this year's team before the trade deadline even happened. You know? If you feel like this team is not a real threat to win the Super Bowl, then there wasn't a trade that was going to get made that makes you think differently. That's just how you feel about this year's team, and you're stuck into that. And if you want to live your life as a fan of its football team that negatively, then sure, go ahead. Or you felt good about the Lions team, and it doesn't matter if they make a move because you still feel good, because there isn't a single move that's going to make you be like, wow, they went from they can win it to they are for sure going to win it, you know?
I also think it's crazy at this point in the season, 8 games in or 9 games in, whatever it is, to just be like, yeah, they can't win the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, they're flawed.
You can have your concerns, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think they're more flawed than they were last year at the beginning of the year. Like, last year, they were world beaters. I thought they were one of the greatest teams of all time those first 5 weeks of the season before Hutch got hurt. Their point differential was amongst all the other best Super Bowl teams we've ever seen. And I'll stand by that till the day I die. Those first 5 weeks, they were off the charts in every single statistic. PFF, DVOA, points expected. This was up there with one of the greatest teams we've ever seen. Small sample size, but that's just factual. This season's team is much more flawed with no Frank Ragnow, no Kevin Zeitler, being replaced by a bunch of inexperienced guys and an aging veteran in Graham Glasgow who grades out pretty poorly on PFF.
And that's the thing. If you are one of those people that believes last year was their best chance to win the Super Bowl, then them trading a 6th-round pick for some edge rusher was not going to change your thoughts on this year's team.
Correct.
You just believe that last year's team had the best chance, and that's fine if you feel that way, but there was nothing they were going to do at the deadline that was going to change your opinion on that. So why are we continuing to complain about it?
I still think the 2023 deadline pisses me off more than anything. Montez Sweat ends up a Bear. If he's a Lion, do the 49ers really come back and win that game? I don't think so. That's the one I'm always going to lose sleep over, not them not doing anything at this year's deadline. Because unlike this year, in 2023, there was actually a move to be made. That edge rusher was right there. So this year's different. That edge rusher wasn't there. There wasn't a corner there. And obviously there wasn't an interior offensive lineman there because those guys do not get moved. Chris Castellani coming up next. Got a whole bunch of stuff to talk to him about. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. Live on YouTube as well. If you're new, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Share it with a friend. We'd appreciate it here at the network. We'll be right back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Hey, did you guys catch anything yet?
Not a thing.
Ah, bummer, neither have we. I'm actually just about to head into town. I'm going to go into Higher Standards Automotive. They got this award-winning service department with amazing technicians and this large parts department in case I want to fix it myself. They got the part there.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious, man. It's out there.
Yeah, just like when you tried to convince me Bigfoot was real.
Ray?
Bigfoot's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, we got it. Run! Get out! Stop into Higher Standards Automotive, North Eastman Road in Midland, right past the mall.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace Hardware and Sports in downtown Midland has some extra savings for rewards members this month. The leaves are falling down. Make the cleanup easier on yourself. Save $20 instantly on select Craftsman V20 brushless outdoor power equipment kits. Select Milwaukee Power Tools, buy one, get one free, including the brushless drill and impact driver kit. And a steal of a deal on an Ace gift card. Free $10 gift card when you buy a $50 gift card.
At Aird Insurance Group, they're more than just policies. They're your trusted partners in protecting what matters most.
Whether it's auto, home, life, or business insurance, their team takes the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage for your unique situation.
With personalized service and unbeatable rates, Aird Insurance Group makes protecting your future easy.
Call Aird Insurance Group today and see why their clients trust them to keep them covered.
Aird Insurance Group.
The experience matters.
He got it! That's 3 of them! The Great Lakes Bay Region's home for Spartans basketball.
Saturday season early November top 25 matchup. The 1-0 22nd ranked MSU hosts number 14 Arkansas. The Spartans and Razorbacks. Coverage starts Saturday at 6, presented by Weiss Equipment.
every MSU game all season long.
It's so fun to hear people chanting.
Right here on Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt. From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3, presented by Yiter Insurance Group. Chris Castellani joining us now. Chris, I don't think we've talked to each other on the show since the Tigers season had ended. How you doing, man? How you holding up?
I've recovered from that in just the nick of time. No, look, man, I'm doing okay. Obviously, things are about to kind of get back in full swing. We got college basketball around the corner here, but no, look, I miss it. And the thing I point to is just like my routine's thrown off. Like that's 162 nights at least where I know that I have something to do. So it's been fine, but we're continuing to roll with it, and happy to be on here talking with you.
There's a couple, like one or two Tigers things I want to get to at the end of this, but let's start things out with the Lions. I don't think you and I have had too many conversations about the Lions, but I figured now would be a good time because I saw a lot of people comparing Brad Holmes' trade deadline or lack of moves at the trade deadline to Scott Harris, and I'd say that is extremely inaccurate. Scott Harris did a zillion trades. It just didn't end up working out. And I'd rather Brad Holmes do nothing and not waste his time burning 6th and 5th round picks when you can use those to trade up in the draft, get guys that you like. The other thing is I just don't think there was a player available. This is what Kyle and I have been talking about for 2 hours. I don't think there was a player available that would have drastically improved this team. The biggest weakness that the Lions needed to fill was interior of the offensive line. Those guys just straight up don't get moved. But I think I saw you were a little bit disappointed in the deadline, so kind of differing opinions. I wanted to see what you thought about this.
I was mainly joking about putting the Scott Harris thing out there, but no, I guess I was more surprised than disappointed. I thought that they would do something, especially coming off of the game they just played against Minnesota. I also think that one thing that's just like worth pointing out is NFL trade deadlines usually aren't that crazy. Like I think that with baseball or other sports that you really kind of make those big moves. It's much different in football. It was not only not them not making a deal, it's just hearing them attached to nobody was kind of surprising. But I think that like ultimately Holmes and Campbell, and I think this goes back to last year as well, though the Hutch injury kind of changed things a little bit when they went out and got Za'Darius. I think ultimately, like, they still believe that this roster as a whole is good enough to make a deep run and potentially win a Super Bowl. I think that you look at some of the other teams that made moves that have had good seasons, like the Colts, clearly missing a cornerback or a defensive back. They go out and they get Sauce Gardner. I think it is a little bit different. So it's more surprising than anything. I think it's very clear that there's some issues with the team, like just watching the offensive line play over the last few weeks. But they believe in this group, and I like you said, I think last year there was such a clear need with the injury to Hutchinson. I think they just didn't necessarily see anything on paper that was worth making a move for, and then so you can kind of roll with the roster you have.
I don't think they were going to overreact to anything that happened in Minnesota. And I think it's easy, like, after a loss to be like, hey, they need to improve this.
Yeah.
But, like, my biggest thing's always going to be like, okay, interior guys, they just don't get moved. So even if Brad Holmes wanted to add someone like that, like I saw there was a lot of buzz about Kevin Zeitler. Okay, why would the Titans want to make Cam Ward's life even worse. Like that makes no sense to me from their standpoint. So maybe Brad Holmes called 31 teams, and there's a good chance 31 teams would say no, we're not trading our center in the middle of the season. That makes no sense for us. Real quick, because you brought it up. I'm very suspicious that the Colts just made a catastrophic mistake. I like Sauce Gardner, really good player. That seems like a new owner coming in, Irsay's daughter, and kind of making a move that was way too aggressive when you don't have your quarterback under contract. You saw signs of success for 2 months, and all of a sudden you made the most aggressive move the NFL trade deadline has seen in a long time. I'm not trying to do Colts radio here, but that was kind of the story of the day yesterday in the deadline. I thought it was a little premature from the Colts.
Dude, literally all year, I'll be following the Colts or just following the NFL, and I've said to myself, there's no way, like a million times when talking about the Colts, just because it's just, you take what I figured was just going to be Daniel Jones's corpse and try to prop him up for another year, and now all of a sudden they have, one of the hottest offenses in football. Look, I'm going to respect any team that is going for it, but I think that the Colts have been having this Band-Aid for time forever, really since Andrew Luck, of let's bring in a 1-year stopgap every single year to try to fix our quarterback situation. This year, up to this point, it's worked. They do have a good roster, but I also think, and I've seen a lot of Jets fans point this out, this is not the Sauce Gardner of 2-3 years ago. And I think that potentially there could be some diminishing return with the version of him that they get. So we'll see.
Kyle was telling me the same thing, but I don't understand that. Like, is he not still one of the 3 best corners in the NFL?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But he's for sure not the best at his position, though. That's my thing. You're giving up 2 first-round picks for that guy, and he's not, undeniably the best at his position.
Which I think is certain at this point, but I don't know. I still think he's
2 firsts for a non-quarterback / edge rusher, or if it obviously a non-quarterback, and it's not an edge rusher, just seems crazy for anybody.
Yeah,
which is why I thought it is ultra aggressive here from the Colts. All right, so just looking at the Lions the rest of the season, obviously the interior of the offensive line has been a little bit of an issue, and one thing that. There's 2 things that come with that. Not being able to protect Goff. I know they had that 3-game streak in the middle of the season where he didn't get sacked, but every other game it's been 4, 4 sacks. Only 1 against Kansas City. But the bigger issue to me is that they can't run the ball, and the running game itself I think lacks creativity. We were comparing, what does it look like if Ben Johnson's here, even with a different offensive line earlier this season, and I know a lot of people probably don't want to hear the what if Ben Johnson was here, but I don't know, I can't help but to think the creativity level was just kind of on a different planet last season, not even in terms of the trick plays, but just the misdirection and stuff pre-snap or even right after you snap the ball, and then you're watching Bears game and it's they're running 7 trick plays a game. I start to wonder okay, would the run game be a little bit more a little better if Ben Johnson was still here, because Gibbs right now has 10 plus yard rushing handoffs, you know what I mean? He has 10 different carries of 10 plus yards. The 2 10s is throwing me off. But last year he had 41. That is way down this year, and I think that's twofold. I think it's offensive line, and I think it's no Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I would agree. I was watching the game against Minnesota, and they were so out of sync. And I was just waiting. I even tweeted about it, and maybe sometimes I forget that this is a different offensive coordinator. I kept waiting for the flea flicker, the reverse, something just to kind of to get them going a little bit, because I think that, look, this team is an offense, like a lot of offenses in the NFL, that wants to play complementary football. The pass works when the run is working, and then you can get the play action game going. And the fact is, they tried to stay true to that principle. They could get nothing going between the tackles. And when you have 2 really dynamic running backs, including, maybe arguably the fastest guy in the NFL, who's barely getting past the line of scrimmage just because there's no holes available for him, there's things you got to mix up. And I think, John Morton did talk about, the lack of usage for Jamison Williams in the first, chunk of the season. I think a big part of that, again, falls on the offensive line. That's your biggest vertical threat. And you're not allowing your, Goff to get comfortable comfortable in the pocket. You know, they're applying pressure on him pretty consistently. You knew Brian Flores was going to draw up a bunch of blitz packages, and they did. And even when they weren't blitzing, I mean, this offensive line was letting guys into the backfield. So it was a frustrating performance for an offense that I think up to Sunday had probably been a little bit better than we make them out. Like, there's going to be a step back compared to what was the historic offenses of the last few years. But I think Sunday was really kind of the first legit cause for concern, because you had a quarterback that was out of rhythm, and you had offensive play calling that generally seemed pretty uninspired.
You want to hear a hilarious stat?
Sure.
Even though they were terrible on Sunday, I believe they went from third to second in scoring in terms of points.
Yeah, they did score 24. Yeah.
Yeah, so they end up going up in the points per game category, which is so funny that they're still right at the top there. But I mean, the lack of run game, like the 5 straight 3-and-outs or whatever it was, it just never used to happen. So there's reason for frustration to say the least. All right, let's switch gears. Michigan basketball made their debut on Monday night, so that was 2 nights ago. I walked away from that game, and I know this is like first game, it's against a way inferior opponent. But I walked away like, okay, this is very intriguing, because you have this Ade Mara guy, you have Yaxel in the front court, and then you have Merez Johnson, who just looks like a linebacker out there playing football. The size itself, I think, is enough to basically overwhelm the majority of the teams in the Big Ten throughout the season.
Yeah, no, this is one of those instances where, you know, especially college basketball, teams have their stumbles in the early part of the season, and I'm sure Michigan will. But what, you know, you look for in the first game is like, what does the roster look like, and what are the potential weaknesses that better teams could be able to exploit? And I don't think they're going to shoot the ball as well as they shot the ball 2 days ago. That's not saying much. I mean, they scored over 100 points, but I think Dusty's biggest strength as a coach is that he is his roster construction and knowing what's going to work and what isn't going to work in terms of floor spacing. I mean, in the first 4 or 5 minutes of that game, the ball movement was so crisp. They knew they had a size advantage down low, and then all of a sudden, you know, they were clamping down on Mara and Johnson. They started knocking down threes, but I really think that's important, because you know, a year ago at this time, there was a lot of question marks about how in the world are these 2 7-footers going to play, you know, on the floor at the same time, and, you know, not have there be any issues with Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden. Dusty knew what he was doing. Danny Wolf, not your typical 7-footer. You know, they were able to stretch the floor with him. Spacing was good, and Vlad was great down low. I think it's very similar with this team, where I'm kind of looking around and saying, well, let's, you know, check off the boxes. They have a lot of height. Looks like they should be good down low, at least defensively. They're going to be able to shoot. They have a good ball handler in Kadu, who's facilitating, had a ton of assists in that first game. No, this is going to be, and I guess this is just my game 1 overreaction, but look, it's not just me. They came into the year number 7 in the country. I mean,
Yeah.
there's people picking them to win the Big Ten. This is going to be a team that I think at their best is going to have nights like what they had two days ago, where they look almost unstoppable, just because there's a lot of depth here. I mean, LJ Kaysen didn't even play, and there were still 8-9 guys who are key contributors. I think 7 guys in double figures. This is going to be a really good squad.
Well, I think the X factor too is the 5-star freshman McKinney.
Yeah,
because he comes in and just hits 6 threes right away, and most of it's in garbage time. Like, so whatever. But like, I don't know if that's a guy that's going to contribute and can hit a couple threes every night. All of a sudden, Michigan's like, you know, we know they have the size. They know they're going to overwhelm teams, out-rebound most teams in the Big Ten. But if they can get this guy who just comes in and lights it up from behind the arc, that's to me like, okay, maybe we're not talking about just like winning the Big Ten, you know, doing something that hasn't been done in the Big Ten in, 25, 26 years by the time the tournament comes around. Like, McKinney to me is like the guy where it's like, all right, if this guy's awesome, then maybe we got to raise the ceiling even a little bit higher.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was talking with Tony Garcia of the Detroit Free Press before the season, and he brought that up about, like, he almost made the comp with Bryce Underwood, where he said, look, I don't know how much McKinney's going to contribute, but I know, similar to Bryce Underwood, I saw this guy step on the floor and I went, this guy has a Big Ten ready body. Like, there's not going to be a whole lot of physical adjusting that he's going to have to do. I think it's such a great weapon to have, because I think that in this offense, what Dusty wants the point guard to be is more of a creator, more of a facilitator, which is what we got in the first game with Kadu. And the idea of having this spark plug off the bench, who in his first game was able to go for 20, 5-star recruit, you know, McDonald's All-American, yeah, all of a sudden you're adding depth pieces. And on a night where somebody doesn't have it, you can get a guy like that off the bench and he's making 5-6 threes. It's a real weapon.
I can't tell you how much I was impressed with Kadu his first game. Or is it Kadu? Cadell? I'm just going to keep messing that up the entire year.
Times. I'll get it right by March.
Speak for yourself. I might not.
Right, okay.
But to have a true point guard, like actually facilitating offense, Donaldson was great at what he did, and that was put the ball in the basket. But man, there were so many games last year where there's a minute left, 90 seconds left, and like these possessions really matter. And he can't get the ball to Wolf or Golden down low. So you just watch him dribble the ball for 15 seconds and then take a step back three or runs into a mid range. And it's just got like infuriating by the end of the season. It's like, I know this guy's talented, but good gracious, like, can we just like play point guard? Now they've got a guy who's like a true pass first, old school traditional point guard. And you saw him get double digit assists in game one. That to me is like really exciting, especially considering the talent that's around him this year.
Yeah. And I think, last year, Dusty saw what we saw, which is the fact that as fun as that team could be, and they won the Big Ten tournament and they made a run, the turnovers were maddening. I mean, there were games where they were out shooting teams by 20% and losing because they were wasting possessions, not even be able to get a shot off because they were throwing the ball to the other team. I think that Donaldson a year ago was you brought it up perfectly. He was a good scoring point guard in an offense that currently in this version of the team probably doesn't require one. And Donaldson will put up really good numbers at Coral Gables in Miami. Like, he's a good player, but I think that there's enough scoring on the floor right now that they need motion. They need guys that are going to be able to run this thing, and it looks like Elliott's going to be able to do that.
Yeah. All right, you brought up Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
Michigan gets ranked 21st to start the college football playoff committee rankings. That came out last night. This past week against Purdue, I thought that was Underwood's worst game of the year. Yes. They still were able to find a way to win. That has to be his worst game of the season. And I don't mean like comparing it to the games that he's had. I mean, like, he can't have a game worse than that if they want to make the playoffs. And there's a clear route for Michigan to make the playoffs. They just got to run the table, beat Ohio State again, which is maybe easier said than done this year with how Ohio State's looking. And again, we said that last year. But Underwood, to me, it's funny. I wish we would have seen the baby steps throughout the season. And I was so impressed week one that maybe this is my fault and I raised my expectations a little bit too high. But I feel like it's a very similar quarterback, and there hasn't been a lot of progression through, 8 or 9 games so far this season. Maybe that's unfair, but I don't know. I feel like he's just kind of remained the same so far this season.
It's not unfair. And I understand progression isn't linear, and my expectation wasn't that Bryce was going to progressively put up better numbers every single game, in his freshman season. But I've seen young quarterbacks here, whether it's young quarterbacks or upperclassmen. You want your quarterback and your team as a whole to be better by the end of the year than they were at the beginning of the year. I think that's a sign of a well-coached team, is that you see improvement. And we were impressed in the early part of the season, and it's one of those things now. We're deep enough into this where, of course, the guy's got a really good build and a huge arm. Like, he didn't go he was the number one player in the country on accident, right? I think that there are really serious concerns, and this goes back to the early part of the campaign with touch on passes, throwing these fastballs in the flat that are unnecessary. I think one thing he'd avoided up to the Purdue game was just like those forced freshman throws where you're throwing into coverage, and we saw that on full display against Purdue. He had a pick, he had a fumble into the end zone, and there's been certain instances where we've put it on the coaching staff or put it on the receivers who had a lot of drops. I mean, I remember 3 instances off the top of my head that were going to be, if not touchdowns, massive gains for the offense, where he just airmailed throws. I think the receivers probably, in terms of just route running and getting open, played one of their better games against Purdue. It's not troubling to me long term because he has so much football left to play. But it's troubling for the remainder of this season because, like you said, despite the frustrations I've had with this team, they have 3 games left. 2 of them are against very beatable opponents. If you get a better version of Bryce, then you are talking about a team that's potentially, sliding their way into that playoff spot. I don't see it right now. I think that it's a combination of he's fallen off a little bit. He's forcing things. The receiving core from the beginning was never that great, and I don't think the coaching staff's doing a great job of putting him in excellent position either. So it was a maddening game against Purdue. It was one of the more frustrating Michigan football games I'd seen in a minute because it was a game that you felt like had the potential to be a tune-up game, a feel-good game that you come away from saying, hey, you know what, Bryce is in a really good spot and the team's looking better. Not the case.
We're 9 games in, and I still have no idea what this team wants to be on offense. You know, like, do they want to use Underwood's legs in the run game? Because now it feels like the only time he's running is on, passing plays where nothing's there. But it feels like he could throw into these tighter windows, but he doesn't want to. Do they want to be this run-heavy team? I don't know. And that's what I've been asking for nine games. Like, what's the identity of this team's offense? And I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, I don't know if they know either, and I think the absence of Justice Haynes makes this even tougher to figure out.
Right.
I guess I think that with the 2 running back system that they had, and that's why I had no problem with the game Bryce had in the second half against Michigan State. Just run the ball. You got a good offensive line that protects your running backs when they have the ball. You have 2 explosive backs. Just go ahead and run it 45, 50 times a game. In this instance, now you're without Haynes. I've heard various things, but with Sharon Moore being the head coach and on the sideline, which he wasn't for 2 games this year at a point, I think he's just very resistant to the full unleashing of Bryce Underwood's legs. I don't know if that's an injury-related thing. I don't know if that's an identity thing with the offense, but I think I'll take it one step further. I don't know. I don't think this team knows what they want to be because there's certain I think there's a lot of talent here, and 7-2 doesn't happen, on accident. You have to have some, capability. But then they'll play an uninspired game like what they played against Purdue, and you wonder, how bad is the Ohio State loss going to be? So it's been a bizarre team that 3 quarters into the regular season, I can't quite get a gauge on.
Chris, it's always nice catching up with you, man. Hope everything's going well. Hope we get some good free agency news here in the next couple of days. Because tomorrow, 5 o'clock, everything opens up?
Yep.
Yeah, everything opens up. I wish they did it like the NBA where there was only like a week where you could sign guys. But I'm sure we'll make our first move on January 2nd or something just to annoy me, and then we'll discuss it then. But I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good talking.
Yep.
All right, there he goes. Chris Castellani. Follow him on Twitter. Always a good ad there. All right, we'll take a quick break. Got a couple more things to get to. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, as always, presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. And as always, the 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Yiter Insurance Group. Life happens fast, and at Yiter Insurance Group, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter has the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. Yiter Insurance Group, they'll be there when you need them since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Hi, I know it's late, but I just had a fender bender, and I wasn't sure who to call.
You did the right thing. At Yiter Insurance, we're here for you 24/7, day or night, weekday or weekend. You'll always get a real person ready to help. Backed by Auto Owners Insurance.
Life doesn't happen on a 9-to-5 schedule, and neither does Yiter. With trusted partners like Auto Owners, whether it's a claim, a question about coverage, or just peace of mind, you can count on us anytime you need us.
Yiter Insurance, your friends in the insurance business. Always on, always here for you. I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Sharon Mortensen, President and CEO of the Midland Area Community Foundation.
It's a group of people that come together to learn about and to provide input on things happening in our community. So our next upcoming time that we're together, we're talking about law enforcement. We're going to have our prosecutor and our sheriff and our police chief talking about what they're doing and then getting input from the group. So that's a wonderful way for people to come and learn and share their ideas. We've also partnered with the Midland Business Alliance on the My Pros Community Crowd Fund, which started, goodness now, I think it's been probably 4 years.
Listen to the full episode on YouTube at 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Is your business protected, connected, and running at full speed? At IronStack Technology, they provide rock-solid IT solutions, cybersecurity, and support tailored for small and mid-sized businesses. From managed services to cloud migration and 24/7 monitoring, They've got your back so you can focus on what matters most, growing your business. Visit IronStackTechnology.com today and build your IT on a foundation of strength. IronStack Technology, IT that works as hard as you do.
Hey, sports fans, heading up north? Whether you're gearing up for the big game, hosting friends, or winding down after a long day, Hops and Schnapps is your ultimate beverage destination. With one of the largest selections of beer, wine, and spirits in Michigan featuring over 1,000 options from around the globe, we're your beverage experts. Plus, our friendly team is here to help you find the perfect pick. Visit us in Standish, Grayling, and Gaylord today. Hops and Schnapps, raise your glass, raise your spirits.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
All right, welcome back in. Here's our final stance on this whole debacle that the Lions have found themselves in. I don't care that they didn't make a move. I don't. If you want to tell me that that makes me, I don't know, a Brad Holmes slappy. Nope, here's 5 things that I hated Brad Holmes did. Traded for Donovan Peoples-Jones. One of the dumbest things he's ever done. Drafting Hendon Hooker. Wow, that didn't work out. Trading up and trading a 4th-round pick for Giovanni Manu. Just a disastrous decision. Trading up into the 4th round and taking Sione Vaki, who's hurt every single week he's ever been alive. Yeah, bad decision. And then I'm trying to think of one more. I don't know. The Ennis Rakestraw pick has absolutely not worked out. The Josh Pascal pick has absolutely not worked out. There's been a lot of things that Brad Holmes has not done very well. Not trading for anyone at this year's trade deadline, I don't think fits into that group.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because a lot of those decisions that you talk about are draft night decisions, right? The lone trade deadline thing is the Donovan Peoples-Jones move. And sure, I mean, we can say that it was like or maybe a large reason why they didn't end up beating the 49ers in that 2023 game. I would probably disagree. But
I don't know. Montez Sweat had like 6.5 sacks.
Right, the Lions also were like winning the whole game and then absolutely choked, so I don't know how much that, I mean, it obviously would have helped things for sure. But anyways, I don't want to rethink that game. No one wants to rethink that game.
It lives rent-free in my head, unfortunately.
Yeah, that one was
I watch it every
thing
6 months. It's really weird.
It's terrible.
I don't
Which
know why I do
worse,
that
one or the Commanders one? Just kidding.
The 49ers
It's obviously
one.
the 49ers one.
Yeah, it was there. It was in the palm of our
right.
hands.
I still think the team last year was better.
I do too.
But that's kind of how I feel about this whole thing. Like, I just think that there's a lot of Lions fans that already had their mind made up based on what happened on Sunday, that this team just clearly is not built to go on a deep run in the playoffs. There's a lot of fans that are feeling that way right now. I'm not saying that you can't feel that way. You totally can. But there wasn't a trade that was going to be made at the trade deadline that's going to get you to think differently from that opinion. And so to complain about the lack of moves, I would just love to be presented with what move that you saw happen with other teams that the Lions should have been the team to go out and ahead and get it. Because I've always hated the whole well, they should have traded for this guy who didn't get traded.
Jermaine Johnson, the perfect example.
Yeah, why didn't they trade for Jermaine Johnson from the Jets? Nobody traded for him. Why didn't they trade for Tariq Woolen? Nobody traded for him. Why didn't they trade for Kevin Zeitler? Nobody traded for him. If there's a specific move that was made, like the Montez Sweat one, that you're like, man, why didn't the Lions get out in front of this one and make that move? That's a little bit different. If you feel that way, then we can talk about that. But I've always hated the hypothetical of, man, they should have went out and traded for this guy or that guy who all didn't get traded. Nobody traded for them.
Yeah. This is like the inverse of what the Bengals are doing. It's like, well, why does nobody want Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah, he's
because
worth
your
the
price
first.
is too high.
He's worth a first. Okay, no, he's actually worth what the other teams are willing to pay, actually.
And no one wants to give up a first.
That's always my favorite thing is you set a price what he's worth. You don't set the price. The teams that are willing to spend are the ones that set the price.
Oh,
so
man.
good.
Are they worse run organization in sports right now. Just the
Ooh.
most incompetent. They just happen to luck into Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Ooh, that's
and really,
good.
they only have Jamar Chase because Joe Burrow insisted on.
There's a
having
lot
Jamar
of
Chase.
different MLB franchises that have a case. So them being like the lone one in the NFL maybe makes it them. The New Orleans Pelicans are really close in the NBA.
Yep.
They clearly are. I mean, at least the Brooklyn Nets had 5 first-round picks last year, and they're terrible. The Pelicans don't have their own.
I would argue using all 5 first-round picks is just as stupid as not having any.
No, it's not. Like, it is stupid, yes, but it's not as bad as what the Pelicans have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They're the worst team in the league and don't have their own pick.
Run by Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, man. God.
So good. It's so good to
yeah,
see their incompetency
Pelicans,
wear off on another team instead of the Pistons.
Bengals probably are the worst, though, I would say. Just the world's most historic. I mean, we talked about
They're
this
just
pre-show.
so cheap.
Like, Joe Burrow is clearly heading down the Matt Stafford timeline, and it is just a matter of time before he gets traded to his Rams.
And then just instantly
Stafford
wins.
And it's
instantly starts winning.
Right, totally.
The difference is Joe Burrow got to a Super Bowl very early on.
And also,
Stafford
I
obviously
think
didn't do that.
Burrow's going to move on much sooner in his career than Matt Stafford did.
He's going to be broken in half by the time he's 30.
That's a good point. He's much more injury prone than Stafford is, though, too. So that makes things a little bit trickier.
He's also way older than Stafford was when he came into the league. Because isn't Joe Burrow like 26 or 27 years old already?
He's older than that.
He's older than that?
I think Burrow's 28 or 9.
Oh, because he was a 4-year college guy, wasn't he?
He was a 6-year college guy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's 28 years old. He turns 29 next month.
Mahomes is 2 years older than this guy?
Burrow was like 25 when he won the Heisman.
It's crazy.
I think he was 24, but still.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad teams. And the Lions are not one of them, okay? Lions are not one of them. They're actually one of the most healthy organizations in the NFL because they pay everyone. So because they didn't trade for a guy does not make them a bad org, does not make Brad Holmes a non-aggressive GM. Just means they're being poised, a little bit more cautious. And there wasn't a move in the first place. 989-837-6125. We'll hit the news when we come back. Do our 2 traditions to close out every show. This is the Ben Bosscher Show here on 100.9 The Mitt. If you're looking to move before winter really hits, meet Matt Smith Modern Realty. He can get it done fast. They're redefining real estate with fresh, modern approaches. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, Matt Smith delivers personalized service tailored to you. Cutting-edge marketing, local expertise, and commitment to making your real estate experience as smooth as possible. From cozy starter homes to luxury properties, they know how to get you the perfect fit. Trust the team that combines innovation with real-world know-how. That is Matt Smith of Modern Realty.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Isaiah, how did you get all wet?
I was playing in the rain.
Son, you're in the house. It's not raining inside. Or is it?
Yeah, it's in the kitchen.
What?
Oh no, the roof has a leak.
Leak? That's a waterfall.
We need that fixed now.
Rexy Siding and Building Repair can fix it.
What, son?
Any job, anywhere. Bresky can do it all.
Call Bresky right now and get that roof fixed. And while you're at it, have him fix the gutters.
Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today.
Hey, sports fans heading up north, whether you're gearing up for the big game, hosting friends, or winding down after a long day, Hops and Schnapps is your ultimate beverage destination. With one of the largest selections of beer, wine, and spirits in Michigan, featuring over 1,000 options from around the globe, we're your beverage experts. Plus, our friendly team is here to help you find the perfect pick. Visit us in Standish, Grayling, and Gaylord today. Hops and Schnapps, raise your glass, raise your spirits.
A beautiful yard increases both the value of your home and the quality of your life. Commercially, landscaping creates a positive impression of your professionalism and commitment to community, customers, and employees. Cervinsky Sod has been creating and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
Every Wednesday on the Ben Bosscher Show, thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet, you've got a chance to be a big winner.
That's what this is all about. It always has been about.
Back-to-back weeks, we are giving away tickets to Spartan Stadium. November 15th, it is Penn State versus Michigan State in East Lansing, and thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet, we're sending you home with tickets, but you have to be listening to the Ben Bosscher Show for a chance to win. Again, that is Big Win Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet here on the Mitt.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think we're nearing the end of the Jonathan Smith era at Michigan State. I think Scott Harris trading for a half dozen pitchers at the trade deadline is officially a failure considering how the season ended. I think the Detroit Lions are going to give the Packers an astronomical revenge whooping on Thanksgiving later this year. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show, weekdays from 9 to noon, presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Michigan.
This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
All right, 989-837-6125. Let's go through the news. There's a lot going on. Kyle, what do you got?
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Yep, we're back into the news, Ben.
Yep.
That's right, the news. It's back. Okay, we talked about earlier the college football playoff, but just in case you missed that, let's just quickly dive back into that. We got our first edition of the new ranking, the first ranking of 2025 last night. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Alabama 4, with Georgia and Ole Miss on the outside of the top 4.
Again, I said this on Monday. I think there's 6 contenders this year. I think it's Bama, I think it's Georgia, I think it's Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana, and A&M. I'd be surprised if anyone else won it right now. That could change. I'm not saying I'm like tied to that opinion for the rest of the season, but those kind of be to me are the 6 teams levitating above everyone else right now.
Right, and as far as the other teams that would be in the bracket in the 12-team playoff, you have it as obviously those top 6 that we just mentioned: BYU 7, Texas Tech 8, Oregon 9, Notre Dame 10, Virginia at 11, and then Memphis would sneak in at number 12 as the Power 4 or the Group of 5 team. So Virginia, despite being ranked 14th, sneaks in at 11 for being atop the ACC currently.
Virginia Tech's on top of the ACC right now?
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. I was like, what?
With no tech.
Virginia with no tech. Got it.
Kind of like Yankee with no brim, you know?
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. How long are we going to hold on to this Power 4, non-Power 4 team getting in? Does Memphis really belong in the playoffs? Why are they there? If they're not even one of the 25 best teams, then why are they in the playoffs? How long are we going to do this
Good point. I don't know. Probably not that long. I thought it was going to happen for 1 year, and then we were going to punt on that idea, but with Boise State, obviously, last year. But Arizona State was good, so I guess I don't know.
Yeah, but they were the Big 12 champs.
Yeah, but they were also one of those teams that were like outside and snuck in as like 12 seed or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't ranked inside the top 12.
Right. Whatever.
So we'll see. Okay, more in the news. Last night, the Chicago Bulls stayed atop the Eastern Conference. They were down 24 points against the 76ers. This was a battle to be first place in the East, and the Bulls won it. Ben, are the Bulls good?
I think they are. This isn't a team I'm taking seriously in the playoffs, but I'm trying to think of like another team in recent years that's had like a great regular season, not really a star on the team, but they just move the ball around so well. They pass the ball so well. I think they still lead the NBA in assists per game. Because it's just like you can't. This is how I felt opening night when the Pistons got shelled by them. It was like the ball is just constantly moving. The offense is so good, unlike our rec league offense where it's like pick and roll when in doubt. No, they've gotten rid of that whatsoever, and it's just like everyone moving at all times. It's really fun to watch. I think that's going to lead to a good regular season record when it's all said and done. I'm not going to pick them in a playoff series when everything slows down, but they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I think I'm out on the Bulls.
Okay.
I don't buy it at all, actually. But good for them having their fun little start to the season. That's cool and everything. Pistons are also off to a good start this season, 5-2. Chance to make it 6-2 tonight against the Jazz. That's at 7.
10-point favorites at home. Can you believe that? Pistons have enough respect to be favorites on the road versus Memphis. And the next game, they're 10-point, double-digit home favorites. Too many points?
Man, too many points, especially with Svi Mikhailuk revenge game
coming
tonight.
Right.
Yes.
No, I've got Pistons big tonight.
Revenge game guy.
I
Okay.
don't think there's anybody slowing down Cade tonight.
Probably not. And maybe Lauri Markkanen pull a Eugenio Suarez like you talked about. Keep him in the building. Don't let him leave.
I'm so in.
That would never happen right now.
No, not right now, but I'm
Yeah,
so
at
in
the
on
deadline,
Markkanen becoming a Piston.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I am as well. I just don't see why the Jazz would trade him, but who knows. Little bit quick more NBA news. Zion Williamson is going to be out at least 7 to 10 days with a hamstring strain. So 7 to 10 days on a regular injury scale. What is that ratio to the Zion Williamson injury scale? I'm thinking at least
double it.
40 games probably.
40's a little
Out
aggressive.
half the season, I would say.
Huh. He's probably out 2 weeks, right? If it's a leg injury, I think I'd be more concerned. But if it's just a hand, he should be able to bounce.
Hamstring.
Oh, hamstring. I thought you said hand.
Hamstring strain.
No, he's
40
out.
games? Yeah.
Yeah, he actually might miss the half the season.
He might miss the whole year.
See you on Christmas.
Yeah, the Pelicans will not be participating at Christmas.
No, or the playoffs, or the in-season tournament, or really any fun basketball.
Shout out to Joe Dumars, baby. NFL news. Yesterday, we were told that Jonathan Gannon said that Kyler Murray is still the starting quarterback of our Cardinals, despite Brissett being good. Well, that has been put to bed already because it sounds like it's going to be Jacoby Brissett back in action in their next game against the Seahawks. But they're not benching Kyler Murray, Ben. They're giving him extra time to heal with this foot injury. That's why he's out. It's not a benching. They really wanted to make that clear.
Really? No. I think this was really bad PR by Kyler Murray's team, because we found out that the Cardinals are going to be going with Jacoby Brissett regardless. The team is informed. And we were like, oh my God, he got benched. And then like 4 hours later, there was a report that's Kyler Murray, like it could be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks for him to be healthy. And if they bring him back too early, they think he's going to re-injure
Even though he almost played.
I don't know, man. This sounds like another quiet benching to me.
I think it does. Which is odd, though, because as much as we can talk about Kyler Murray, blah, 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 whatever, the guy is making so much money.
So much.
So how do you not play him? That's the only part why I don't really.
Same thing with Tua, man.
But that's why I don't really.
Suck.
True. That's just why I don't really buy the soft benching with them, though. Like, Murray is just getting paid. You think you'd want him to play and at least do a little something so you could try to trade him. I don't know.
Yeah, but does Jonathan Gannon really care if he's making money? This is like an ownership thing.
But usually the owners kind of relay it down the ladder a little bit,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray should be playing if he's healthy.
And I'm sure Jonathan Gannon's response would be Kyler Murray would be playing if he was better than Jacoby Brissett, and he's just not right now.
True. Some dub for Marvin Harrison Jr. fantasy owners, though.
No
that's
kidding.
For sure.
You see him put Duran Bland into the ground, just shaking him.
Yeah, that was big.
Oh, my God.
A couple more things on the news here. Speaking of trades at the trade deadline, Howie Roseman, man, I love how open he is with the media. He was asked about the potential thought of A.J. Brown getting traded, and he kind of just said, we considered trading away A.J. Brown, but he said, quote, I think when you're trying to be a great team, it's hard to trade great players, and A.J. Brown is a great player. So there was a lot of buzz about this, but I don't think there was anything actually real about A.J. Brown for real being traded.
No.
But it's interesting that he was even tossed out there. Final thing in the news.
Yeah, go ahead.
Funny news. Had to throw this one in here. Tom Brady tells us that his dog is a clone of one of his family's previous pets. What?
I have mixed
AI
emotions
dog?
on this. So, my family's always said,
is it a real dog?
It's a real dog. They just, take its genes and, I don't know. They, put it into a dog's embryo, and then it comes out the same dog.
Dogs don't wear genes. chance.
Okay, so I don't know. I have semi-mixed feelings on this because my family's always joked we wish we could clone our family dog.
You can.
Well, financially, no, we cannot. I'm sure that costs millions of dollars.
It's possible to.
We've always said we want to, but I also think it's like, now that I hear that he's done that, like, no, you need to like actually go through grieving processes. This isn't real life. You don't get to bring people back from the dead. But apparently you do. So, I don't know. Keep doing your weird rich people things, Tom Brady.
Yeah, maybe he should clone himself and have him start at quarterback for the Raiders. Ooh, zinger!
And that's the news. All right, we've got our two traditions to close out every show. When we come back, it's the Ben Bosscher Show here on 100.9. The Mitt. The seasons are changing. Maple Hill Nursery is still hard at work for you. They offer professional snow plowing to keep your driveway clear, plus spring and fall cleanup to get your yard looking the best it's been all year round. When things warm up, their mowing services keep your lawn in top shape all summer long, so don't forget about that this winter. From winter to spring and everything in between, Maple Hill Nursery is your all-season lawn and landscape partner right here in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Hey Midland, join the Silver Sneakers and Renew Active programs at the Midland Community Center, where fitness for seniors is fun and free. With Silver Sneakers and Renew Active, seniors 65 and older enjoy access to Greater Midland Community Center, North Family Center, and Coleman Family Center, all at no extra cost with eligible Medicare Advantage plans. Dive into all group fitness classes, exclusive Silver Sneakers classes, and our Greater Midland Walking Club. Get moving with Silver Sneakers and Renew Active at the Midland Community Center.
At the Great Lakes Loons, our commitment to community goes beyond the ballpark. Through the Volunteer program, Loon staff and even players roll up their sleeves to serve the Great Lakes Bay region. From packing food boxes to reading in classrooms and even cleaning up local camps and parks, it's hands-on work that helps build a stronger, more connected community. Volunteer isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Because being part of this region means showing up when it counts. The Great Lakes Loons, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 2007.
Every Wednesday on the Ben Bosscher Show, thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet, you've got a chance to be a big winner.
That's what this is all about. It always has been about.
Back-to-back weeks, we are giving away tickets to Spartan Stadium. November 15th, it is Penn State versus Michigan State in East Lansing, and thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet, we're sending you home with tickets, but you have to be listening to the Ben Bosscher Show for a chance to win. Again, that is Big Win Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. thanks to our friends at Garber Chevrolet here on the Mitt.
The high school football game of the week, presented by the Forward Corporation.
It's the district final round. The 9-1 Dow Chargers keep surging. They host the 5-5 East Lansing Trojans at Midland Community Stadium. Dow's looking for their first district title since 2015. Dow and East Lansing, pregame coverage at 6:50 Friday night.
Don't miss any of the action on the Great Lakes Bay region's home for sports. Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt.
He got him! That's 3 of them!
The Great Lakes Bay region's home for Spartans basketball.
Saturday season, early November, top 25 matchup. The 1-0, 22nd-ranked MSU hosts number 14, Arkansas. The Spartans and Razorbacks. Coverage starts Saturday at 6, presented by Weiss Equipment.
Every MSU game all season long.
It's so fun to hear people chanting.
Right here on Sports Radio 100.9.
The Mitt.
The Mitt. Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters?
Yeah.
100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader. You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got them on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, 989-837-6125. We've got two traditions to close out every show. The first of those is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
The first tradition is the lock of the day.
Oh,
Kyle, go ahead
is.
and give the people an update on lock of the day.
Okay, I'll give people an update on lock of the day. It's going really bad. That's the update.
Yeah.
Lost 5 days in a row. All-time down, all-time 25.45 units. That's the lowest it's ever been. 0-2 on the week. You're down 2 units in the month of November to start things off. 40-67-1 record all-time, so you can't lose any other weeks ever. And, you're back today.
All right. I'm taking Cade to score 30. I feel like he's shaking off the cobwebs from the beginning of the season and is in full swing right now. So I think Cade's going to light up this Jazz team. They don't really have a defender that worries me about slowing Cade down. He's just got to get off to a little bit better of a start. These first quarters haven't been super kind to him.
Yeah.
And honestly, like this last game that he had against Memphis, like again, he didn't get off to a great start. He still ended up scoring 30 because he had
going crazy in the fourth, though.
Yeah, 19 in the fourth. Just get into a rhythm. He's at home today. Hit your first couple threes. I think. This is going to be a good opportunity for Cade to score 30 at home. Would this be his first 30 bomb at home? He scored 30 twice this year.
I'm trying to remember
one at home?
The first one. I can't remember who was against. I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't touch me, I'm sizzling.
All right, so Cade Cunningham, 30 points against the Utah Jazz tonight. Pistons back at home. Taylor fade.
I think I'm going to tail this today. I don't feel like extremely confident in it just because I think the Pistons can beat the Jazz pretty handily without Cade going off. But like you said, it seems like he's finally starting to find a little bit of a stride right now.
Yeah.
So, and it's a Cade line, and I'm never going to just be like, nah, he ain't scoring 30 because I love Cade. Wade.
And it feels like, Cade's most of his points have come at the rim. Walker Kessler's like a good rim protector, but I don't know. I'm just not afraid of Cade getting to the basket.
He's starting to knock down his shots from deep as well. Like, he shot good from deep last game. The percentage is finally up above 30%. It was dangerously low to start the season.
Yeah.
So he's starting to catch his jump shot a little bit. So, yeah, I think I will tail this today.
All right. That is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Yes.
All right. The second tradition we have is guessing what Colin Cowherd's going to open with. He takes over 100.9 The Mitt's airwaves at noon. What do we got today? What's the score? Whose turn is it to go first?
Yeah. I got a point yesterday. Cowboys lead 29-25 would be the score. Today's turn. Give me one moment here. It is your turn to go first. Oh, it's episode 111, 111. Ooh, are you a big astrology person, Ben?
No.
A lot of these numbers means something to people.
Not to me.
Not to me either.
They don't mean anything.
Just didn't know if you were that type of guy.
It's the number after 110. That's its meaning.
Oh. Okay, 29-25. It's your turn today. This is tricky today, Ben, because Sauce Gardner news broke like right at the beginning of his show yesterday. That happened, 12:15, I think?
Yeah, something
like that.
It happened
right when we were done. So he probably hit on it pretty hard yesterday, but now he's had a full day. Is it going to be the lead today? I don't really know. I'm kind of cool with letting you go with something here, and then I'll just kind of react.
It's my turn?
It is your turn, yeah. Because I don't really know. I don't know what the approach is here because I don't know how hard he hit the stuff yesterday.
See, I think the Colts thing is the biggest lead. However, I don't think that's a big enough market to do for him.
Yeah, but it's New York too. It's like the trading of Sauce Gardner leaving the Jets, you know?
I think it's going to be Dallas Cowboys centric.
I was kind of thinking that too.
I think this is going to be all right, let's compare. They give up Micah and the 7th round pick, and here's everything they got back. Bad decision still overall. You'd rather just have Micah Parsons. I'm going to go with the Jerry Jones Cowboys. Like they're over here doing something that no one else is really on the same page with. Like they're running a Madden simulation. Everyone else is playing actual football and running a team like normal people other than the Cowboys.
I like that pick, especially since he led Cowboys yesterday after their loss, can kind of retie that in. Yeah, that's probably the best pick of the day. I think I'm going to stay away from the Sauce Gardner stuff. I just feel like he for sure probably did everything on it yesterday. And there wasn't any other big trades that make you feel, unless he does like a grand scheme trade deadline thing, like how kind of you've laid out. Oh, the Bills didn't make moves. Oh, the Chiefs didn't make moves. The Rams, the Lions.
That'd be good.
It could be something like that. I don't think I'm going to predict that, though. I don't know how much he's tied into Cam Boozer here at Duke like he was with Cooper Flagg a year ago, and it was his debut. Probably not the lead. I think I'm going to go with a college football playoff lead. There isn't a lot of crazy things that came from this, but it might just be as simple of like, oh, the SEC, Big Ten, of course. They're the top 4 teams. That's not getting touched. Alabama's in there. Just kind of a grand scheme college football playoff lead, I think, is where I will lean today.
You feeling confident in that one?
Not really.
Why wouldn't you just go Sauce Gardner and the Jets?
Because I actually don't think that's going to be it. I mean, he had the whole entire show to talk about it yesterday.
Yeah, but then he went home and thought of some crazy
analogy. It's like a full
analogy.
24 hours later. At least the Quinnen Williams thing and your Cowboys thing is like...
It happened after his show ended.
Right, exactly. College football playoff happened after the show. Like that is truly... Sauce Gardner to the Colts is like old news at this point.
I wouldn't say it's old
for
news,
him,
but
for how his slot works, I guess.
No, I get what you're saying.
So, I don't know. I don't feel confident in it. Maybe just the whole trade deadline thing is better than the college football playoff, but I'll just completely zag and go with that.
Okay. Fair enough. 29-25, my lead, and we'll see if anybody can get to the scoreboard in about 5 minutes. We can't forget to listen. We forgot to listen the last couple days here when we're leaving. All right, so appreciate everyone for tuning in today. That's going to do it for us today. We will, in fact, be back tomorrow. You want to know how you can not forget about it? You can go like and subscribe on YouTube, hit that notification button, and that way you get notified when we go live a few minutes before 9 o'clock every single day. This can be your new favorite show here on YouTube, your new favorite digital sports talk show based around the Detroit sports teams that you all know and love.
And we're live every day on YouTube.
Every day. Haven't been flagged once.
We don't be missing days.
Appreciate everyone for tuning in today. We have Instagram. We have TikTok. We have YouTube. And we have, I guess we're not, high school football on Twitter, right? If you want your high school football stuff, head to
Big
X.
Game on Friday.
Head to X, the Everything app. It does, in fact, have everything. We're going to be live from the Dow's Field. What is that field called?
Midland Community Stadium.
Midland Community Stadium once again.
District final.
For the district final. Dow trying to win it. So that is coming up on Friday. Until then, we've got our Thursday spread picks for tomorrow.
I'm hot.
Kyle is high. Kyle has claimed the throne. Kyle's back in first place for the spread picks, which makes me a little annoyed. But we gotta bounce back. Hit the lab the rest of the day. Try to find 5 good spreads that we like. Appreciate everyone listening. Talk to you guys tomorrow.